Yo, can you hear me? Yo, in the chat, can somebody say yeah? Going to be a great show. What's up, Pam? Lone Silencer. What's up? Keith and the KM to AM chat. You're. Jimmy, what up, bro? I used your when we had the live stream on Monday Night Football. I used your like part of the chat in my video on Instagram. Go look at my Instagram and look at the Devin Williams video. It did some numbers. You're in there. Okay, let's go Justin Herbert. How do I feel about this game? I feel like the Eagles, it's a must win. The AFC is going to be wide open as far as like, oh, wow. Wow. Inside the 30? Where's he at? Inside the 20? Where's he at on the field? Shout out to Troy. Just took the L to JMU. Vidal goes 60 yards. Vidal, what a year for him. Kamani Vidal. He was behind Amarian Hampton. He was behind, what's Buddy's name that came over from Alabama from the Steelers who hurt his eye. Who is this? Oh, Hampton is back. That's right. Hampton is back this week. So, got to give my son like a few more minutes before I can start talking louder. Ray, what up, bro? They're about to punch it in. My only dogs I have in this race tonight, I have Cameron Dicker, the kicker. If he's able to get 20 points, I win in fantasy. I also kicked my last rap for 94.7 the block with the football picks. And I took a chance. I took a chance on the stupid ass Jets. Never take the Jets. They were cooked as soon as Tyrod Taylor went down. So that's 0 for 1. And then I also was like, all right, the Eagles can't lose again. There's defending Super Bowl champs. I took the Eagles. So I'm kind of rooting for the Eagles, but I had a thought today in my life, whenever I need the Eagles, whenever I bet on the Eagles, whenever I touchdown, Hampton's back. As I was saying, whenever I need the Eagles, whenever I got to bet on the Eagles, they lose. They probably gonna lose tonight. And they had that stupid ass positivity rabbit in their locker room. Like, you know it's bad when you're doing that type stuff. And this is the opening drive for the Chargers in their building, and they just scored. But whatever, I got my rap off. I got my bars off. The picks, wrong. But you know what? A lot of weeks my picks were right. And if you listen to my bars last year, if you listen to them, like, yeah, it's too easy. If you listen to my bars week 11, I did some good numbers. I was spot on. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. And also, you gotta write raps. Like, Jimmy, if you got the Eagles tonight, they got to answer. I got Saquon. When is Saquon gonna have the big 200-yard game, 150-yard game? Now would be the time, bro. Let me see. I'm trying to check my. So this little Wave XLR that I have, I'm trying to make sure I'm not peaking. But I'm turning the microphone up so that you can hear me. And you know what's funny? Thursday night when we did this, I told you I got the monitor here, right? So my monitor is here, webcam is here, MacBook is here, my little mic control is here. And I was streaming on Amazon Prime Video. And I just today, for the first time, set up the monitor, Fubo TV, and a little thing popped up. It said, the way you're trying to view this stream is not allowed. Please unhook your external monitor. I'm like, damn. I used to work at Fubo. Shout out to the Fubo fam. I'll see y'all tomorrow if they let me in the building. Fubo has gotten to the point now where you can't hook up a monitor because, like, I don't know how to show y'all, but I think I showed you on my last stream. I got a 24-inch monitor on Black Friday for like $80. Samsung too, so not no janky shit. And the whole thing was like to put up, the game and live stream. And they have a way to override that, which is crazy. But yeah, where we at? Shout out JMU for getting in. Let's go, Dukes. Shout out to JMU for getting in. They will keep it closer than people think for a while before the Ducks take over. I disagree. I got to look more into Oregon's run defense. If they're not able to stop Alonzo Barnett and Wayne Wright running the ball, because that's one of the best running back quarterback tandems rushing the ball in the country. But if they're able to stop them, which I think they will, man, that's a tough place to go play. Lanning is going to have them ready. Dan Lanning is a real good coach. He's a real good motivator. He's going to have his team believe in these kids don't belong on the field with you. He's going to have them believe in, like, yo, the whole world is watching, and, like, go destroy them. So I'm watching the game here because it won't let me do it on the monitor. I got the game right here. But you know what? The purpose of these isn't really to watch the game. It's just the game is on, so we have that. But then at the same time, it's for the chat. So, like, we're talking about JMU. Obviously, I was repping JMU heavy. I'm super proud. I had a feeling. I had about 15 offers coming out of high school. And, I remember even playing in the All-Star game, and people are like, JMU? Where the hell is JMU? And I'm like, bro, it's one of the best kept secrets in the country. They got some baddies down there. And what I say about Saquon. Go ahead, Saquon. And like what I always say about JMU now is, like, this is the vision they had. It's even greater than the vision that they were selling us. I remember the day that I decided to leave they had a presentation on like James Madison University building into the future, new food courts and dining halls and libraries going up in the in the west part of campus, and new additions to the football stadium and all this stuff that they were planning on building the campus up, raising the enrollment, and trying to turn into a Division I school, like a D1A. When I was in high school, it was called 1AA. Now it's called FCS, but now it's not called any of that. Now it's called FCS, and it's like, or now it's called FBS because they're Division I. Yeah, it's dope. New York football is great. Yeah, no, I said it was trash. They shouldn't win another game all year. Just tank. Just tank. The Jets need a quarterback, and the Giants need draft capital. Um, what was I gonna say? People mad annoying. People always blowing me up. Um, you have people blowing up texts. You have dumbasses in the chat. It just happens. You just gotta accept it. Ray, you got it, bro. You asked me enough times, so you know what it is. I always hate when people ask for the follow, but you showed love. So if somebody is showing you love consistently every day, interacting with you, following your stuff, um, I ain't have a problem following you back, bro. It's a shame Herbert plays on the West Coast. Yeah, but we know who he is. Speaking of Oregon, right? Speaking of the Ducks, we've known who Justin Herbert is for a long time now. We've known him for a very long time now. 6, 7 years? 6, 7. Oh, I brought it back. Wow, just Jalen Hurts trying to air it out. Let's see. Coach is in the chat. What's up, 8? What's up, Coach? How you feeling, man? How you feeling, man? Appreciate you pulling up. I get the feeling Hal is going to do nothing this offseason. He is looking to cut payroll, not increase payroll. Yeah, there we go. I knew somebody was going to bring in the winter meetings, and that's another thing. I was hoping that I'll be live tonight and something pop up on Jeff Passan's Twitter. Yo, Saquon's doing it early. I said Saquon's got to have a big night tonight. It's funny because like I think when I was doing my rap, I said something like 2-8-4 teams looking eye to eye. Philly takes the win and the fans take over SoFi. I was gonna say something about I think Saquon rushes for the game high. I didn't have enough time because it's a 1 minute rap, so I just ended it there. But I had an inkling. I'm like, if they're gonna win, they got to establish the run with Saquon. Get back to that identity. He rushed for 2,000 yards. But yeah, back to the Yankees and how. Any Yankee fans in the chat that feel confident, that feel good right now about what this offseason is going to yield? I don't. And I mean, maybe that's part of it. First down, Dallas Goedert. Looks like they're trying to answer. Jimmy says, get a Roku for Fubo. So it's not a matter of like Roku. It's like I don't have a TV in here. There's a monitor in here. This is a big monitor, and my MacBook is here. And what I'm saying is Fubo has some type of built-in protection where you cannot stream the game on the monitor screen. You can watch it on your main screen with no monitor attached. They know. Maybe it's with these new MacBooks. They know that you have a monitor attached, and they don't want you doing that. Let's see, Pam. I'm going for the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, let's see if they can tie it up here, and we have a brand new game, folks. We have a brand new game. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at a couple different things. I had emails to go through. So I say, I appreciate the love, man. Of course, we can chop up college ball. I'm gonna pull up that playoff bracket. I know y'all want to talk about Notre Dame, Miami, Bama. I've been hearing people talk about that all week now. Well, it isn't all week. Selection Sunday was yesterday. It's now Monday. Shout out to your James Madison University. Yeah, forever, forever in my heart because, like I said, when I was high school quarterback coming out of Jersey, um, I thought about going to Delaware. I thought about going to Hofstra. Hofstra was the first team that offered me. So, like, they were special because they offered me when I was 16. When somebody pulls up, I remember their coach, I forget his name, he's an older guy. He pulled up to offer me in the weight room when I was 16. I was like, I did it, man. I'm like, I won in life. I can go to college now. Fast forward many years later, and now it's fourth down. Chargers defense holding tough. I know that's what I'm saying, bro. The JMU facilities, they were enhanced when I was there. The APC was there. The brand new turf was installed. What else did they have for us? They had the new weight room. They had the new study halls. They had the new lounge sleeping area. They had brand new locker room. But they got so much money because they kept winning. And there's another plot twist. I have, for some reason, I haven't been up on fantasy. I've had bigger fish to fry and other things going on. But I have Jake Elliott and Cameron Dicker, and I think I put Cameron Dicker as my kicker, and right away Jake Elliott has the 3, and Cameron Dicker's got the 1. What's up with all these old heads coming back to NFL? To play? I'm not sure what you mean. Name an old head. You're Chris Gomez. What's up, man? How you feeling? You're yo, the thing is, I don't know if you were blocked, but after we had the stream where the Grossi posse pulled up and we got a lot of love from random strangers, I basically said, we're not entertaining any of the negative. We're not entertaining any of the hate. There's too many people showing love. There's too many people pulling up to chat and talk to me that deserve my time over anyone being negative. So I think if I look in StreamYard, there's a feature where you can just hit block and ban all comments. And we had to get you out of the paint, boss. Now, act accordingly. I'm your biggest supporter. No, you're not. I don't know you, bro. And I appreciate you kind of, coming back to say that. But anybody else that was in that chat Thursday, I think it was, you were talking crazy. And it's like, I'm done explaining to people. There's nothing to explain anymore. There's nothing to talk about anymore. I'm done trying to tell the truth because you're going to believe what you want to believe anyway. So go ahead. It ain't affecting me none. I never could understand what 6'7" actually means. It doesn't mean anything. Somebody was going to bring it in. So no, I was hoping not. So I said in November it was done. I was like, once we get to November, no more 6'7". But these kids, man, it's a thing that it doesn't mean anything. It's a thing that anybody can do and get off. It's I don't know. It's like this internet brain rot young phenomenon, 6'7". So I didn't mean to even hit it when I just hit it, but I'm trying to not do it because I think the more we do it, the more we add to it, the more it just continues on. What's good, bro? Thanks for pulling up. Still using the inside voice because my son is sleeping. But I think I can speak a little louder. Let me check the baby cam. If he looks like he's passed out, we can speak more in our regular voices. But you know me, I got the nighttime voice. You're listening to the smooth sounds of KM to AM. All you groovy gals and cool cats out there. You're now tuned into the greatest. The voice is God given. Yeah, I'm looking at Twitter now too. I'm just hoping that we do get some type of break. I'm gonna chill till 11. So send the link. Tell your homies pull up. Let me make it brighter in here too. Give us a little more light. Oh, you can see me. You can hear me better now. Cool. Cool. Got the Bleecker trading cap. I'm about to rock the So yeah, anyway, welcome back in another live. Man, we've had some good stuff come from these lives, bro. Not hiding, happy, blessed. It's been 2 weeks now since the world knew. And man, I've received some great messages, and the message I want to send tonight, because we're all positive now. Like, there's no reason to entertain the negative. There's no reason to, tell the truth over and over again. Like I said, people are going to believe what they want to believe about me, and that's perfectly fine. I'm blessed that anyone cares. But my message is, man, life starts when fear ends, and I have no fear in life, and I haven't had any fear. I'll tell you stories that go back to, as we were talking about JMU and Monmouth University. That's picked off Cooper DeJean. Who was the first person talking about Cooper DeJean on WFAN? Me, when he was at Iowa. I was telling you, he was more of an Iowa legend than Caitlin Clark. Just kidding. He's not. But yeah, man, message. Let me look directly into the camera. Your life begins when fear ends. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. I think so many of us live in this box of, I got to go to work. There's somebody watching this stream right now who has to go to work tomorrow and hates their job, hates their boss, doesn't get paid enough, doesn't like the commute, doesn't like what they do. And the reason they go is because they're in fear of not having money. They're in fear of going broke. They're in fear of being unemployed. They're in fear of living their actual life to the fullest. And I mean, I'm older, man. I'm 37. And I'm just like, I'm getting to a point in my life where I know I worked this hard to get this far. I got to go for it. I got to do what I want. And that's all I'm done. That's all I've done. That's all I'm doing. That's all that my decisions and where I am right now put me. And it's just like, you don't know. I'm watching a sack. I'm watching a game. That should be intentional grounding. Yeah, but it looked like it should have been intentional grounding. I guess there was somebody in the vicinity, but he was clearly in the tackle box. Good for Nakobe Dean, man. When Nakobe Dean came out of Georgia, I mean, they were national champions, and he's a little undersized. People weren't sure about him. He had some injuries, but I mean, he stepped up for the Eagles. They got a few Bulldogs. But yeah, man, I got a message from a guy today, and he's like, yo, I just want to thank you, bro. I quit my dead end job. I'm home now with my fiance who's pregnant and just enjoying life in the holiday season. And I'm like, yo, hopefully you're good and you're straight financially. Like, make sure you're good. But if I inspired you to do that, that's big. If I inspired you to, live your life to the fullest, that's huge, man. And that's sometimes all it takes, And he's like, man, I listen to you so many nights. You're always preaching. You're always inspiring. And so you can't listen to me at night in that same capacity anymore. And I guess what he took from the message that I put out was like, yo, go be who you want to be. You live one time, bro. Don't have regrets, right? And I said I could tie it back to Monmouth University and James Madison University and show y'all I've been moving on my own accord forever. And everybody's not gonna like it. And everybody doesn't have to like it. I'm the only one that has to live with it. When I left JMU, I went through 2 seasons. My freshman season, which was a redshirt season, which is you don't play. Um, you dress, but it's whack. Like when you're a freshman, like I'm a freshman quarterback, redshirt quarterback. You dress, but there's no way you can get in the game. So you like go through the motions. You go through warm ups and stuff. You throw a couple passes, but really you're just there. And my second year, my redshirt freshman year, I was third string, and I take full on ownership. I partied, I drank, I hung out with every frat, sorority, team on campus. It was fun. It was before anybody could go live, anybody could take a 4K video. And I know I wasn't as locked in on football as like I should have been if I was trying to be the starter. But I also knew I wasn't going to be the starter. Like shout out to Rodney Landers. Rodney Landers, they referred to as Superman coming out of high school in Virginia. Great quarterback. This guy was built like a freaking action figure. And that was my dog too. His demeanor, and I watched him take hits. I watched him run the ball, throw the ball, and just be a leader. He was the starting quarterback. After my freshman year, Justin Riscotti, who won the national championship, was our starting quarterback. And then I came in with a kid, Drew Dudzik, who was another Virginia legend. I'm not a Virginia legend. I was coming out of Jersey. And I realized that his pops played at the school. I wish I knew that as I was getting recruited and signing there, but I didn't care. I was like, whatever, I'm willing to come in and compete with whoever. And I wanted to go to the school because I liked the campus. I liked the team won the national championship while I was in high school. And man, like I said, to see JMU where it is now, I knew that JMU was going to be lit. I'm like, I knew like people might not really know about this place now in 2006. Fast forward to 2026. Anyway, I went through 2 seasons. My second year was fun. My second year was fun. We traveled. I remember going to Northeastern, Rhode Island, Delaware. Going to like being in hotels and like going to like UNC Chapel Hill, going to games, playing college football. It was sick. But man, the conditioning and the working out, whack. And like if you got in trouble, like I remember having to run the stairs one morning because I slept through my alarm. Like this is when they could like really kick your ass in college. And like I was a fish out of water. I did not want to be there. And so here's the like rogue thing that I did. They had Hell Day. Hell Day was like the first workout back from Christmas break. And it was basically set up to put you in hell and test you and make you puke. And I remember puking in that workout, and I never really puked in workouts. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm never doing another one of those. So I think it was 2008. I just skipped Hell Day. And I remember people being like, oh, you skipped Hell Day. You're in trouble. Oh, the coaches are looking for you. You're like, all right, you're cooked. And I was like, no, I'm not cooked. I'm out. I'm leaving. Like, oh, like I knew what I was doing, bro. I'm leaving. People like, what? You're crazy. You're gonna leave? Like, yeah, I'm gonna leave, bro. And I'm gonna leave. 1 second, and we'll catch up in the chat when I come back. But that's one little story of knowing when it was time to go, believing in myself, feeling something in my gut, in my heart, and moving on my own accord and not what other people said for me. And it's a commercial in the game. 7-3, Chargers over Eagles. BRB. You see the T? Okay. Chat check. Last thing I saw in the chat was JMU will cover the first quarter and first half. I don't know about that. I hope to find a prop. Will they have a lead at any point? I don't know about that. I could see a quick 3-0, 7-0 lead if they get the ball. So like I I would love that to be a reality. But I have watched at least 5 games this year with JMU. Maybe I'm dead wrong, but even in this Troy game that they just played, they they struggled a little bit, and they struggled. Go, please go back. The lone silencer. Go back and look at the first half against Troy in their building in front of their own fans, knowing that they have the Sun Belt Championship on the line. Man, they struggled. I gave up on them a year ago. I like the Yankees the way we are. Just need a shortstop. Maybe Caballero. Most likely Caballero until Volpe comes back. I hope they can make it right for the Yankees. I gave up on the Yankees being the Yankees years ago. Yeah, I always say like Peter Pan has left Never Neverland. You kind of learn that Santa Claus is not real. I don't want Tucker or Bellinger. There's better out there. Not this year, not in this market. Here we go. Second quarter begins. And start of the second. Chargers 7. Oh, picked off. Eagles 3. Hold on. Jalen Hurts picked off. Okay. Um, Chat coming in. Shout out to people watching on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. That's all we're doing tonight. I will eventually get TikTok and Instagram on there. Maybe I'll fire that up. But my phone right now, I'm watching the game on. Like I said, I was expecting to be able to put the game on the monitor. And Fubo said, no, you can't do that. But where were we in the chat with Tucker Bellinger? Did you go to JMU? Yeah, I don't know how many credits I had, but I went there from 2006 to 2008, and I knew I had to dip off. I knew I had to get, like, not for nothing. Like, when I say it was before phones and stuff, like, I don't need to tell the stories. I saw some crazy stuff. Like, I actually went to college when college was college. I remember leaving there, and a couple years later, I think like 2010, they they had the SWAT team come in and like pepper spray the kids at Fall Fest. Fall Fest was the kickoff to the fall semester every year, and it was insane. It was out of control. I just remember, I remember I went to 2 Fall Fests and they were ridiculous. It's just drunk kids everywhere, and it's kids from other schools that come to party there because it's such a big party school. So, did you go to JMU? I did, but I did not graduate. I graduated from Monmouth University. I came home, and thank God I did. That's another part of the story, right? So, like, my parents didn't have any money. My parents were divorced, and my mom wasn't going to be able to pay for me to go to college. And she basically told me at 12, like, you got to figure it out. Like, imagine telling a 6-year old or a sixth grader, a 12-year old, like, yo, we can't pay for you to go to school. Like, shout out to you if you're in the chat and your parents were saying, hey, get good grades. Whatever school you want to go to, whatever school you can get into, we're going to pay for it. That was not my reality. My reality was you got to figure out how to go to school. And I keep moving and blacking out the screen because I know my mom is at home watching, and I got the allergies and my nose. I always got to, itch my nose. And my mom is like super annoying about it. Already texted me a bunch of times like, yo, stop scratching your nose. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm telling stories. I'm live. I'm being transparent. I'm being real. I'm letting people see me in the crib while I'm watching a game. But yeah, so at 12, My mom is like, I can't pay for you to go to college. My brother is out of school. He went to FIT, and he's got, student loan debt and stuff like that. But that was good for me. I needed that because when I was 12, I scored like 30 touchdowns in one Pop Warner season. And I remember a couple of the coaches and people's dads were like, yo, you're only a couple years away from high school. If you keep this up, you can go to college. So, like, me putting two together, my mom said she can't afford for me to go to college. I got to figure something out, or I'm gonna be taking loans and grants out. I'm good at football. And these dads and coaches are like, you're only 3 years away from high school. And if you keep it up, boom, you can get a scholarship. I got my first scholarship when I was 16. 4 years later, I had a full ride to Hofstra. And I remember, going home and telling my mom, yo, I got offered today. I got my first offer. She didn't even understand that. Like, basically, I did it 4 years later. 4 years after you told me I got to figure out how to go to college, I did it as a kid, as a 16-year-old kid. But yeah, when I went to JMU and I just had the feeling that I was partying too much, things were getting too crazy. My grades were always fine. I never struggled in school. I could not go to class or not have the book, and I was smart enough to I never had a problem with school. Like, I'm not saying I was getting straight A's. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't. There were a lot of guys on the football team. They were dumb as rocks. But I knew I wasn't going to beat out Drew Dudzik, whose dad played for the school, and I wasn't trying to play wide receiver there. Like, if I was going to play wide receiver or kick return, punt return, or play defense or something, I could go to another school. Other schools recruited me to play other positions. I wanted to play quarterback. That's why I went there. I'm watching Amari and Hampton now run the rock. So long story short story long, I transfer and I come home to Jersey, where I know I have access to my mom's house, which is 20 minutes from the campus. I know that I know everybody because, like, Monmouth University is 10 minutes from my high school, probably less, probably like a 7-minute ride from my high school to Monmouth University. And on signing day, National Signing Day, I was already committed to JMU. I had a purple shirt and a gold tie. I was that much, like, committed to JMU. And I remember Coach Callahan came to my school that day, and Monmouth had got like a handful of offers. I don't know, something changed with Monmouth University where they didn't have offers, and he offered me a full ride on, like, National Signing Day. And I'm like, I can't decommit now. And I didn't want to decommit. I'm like, I'm going to Virginia. I'm getting far away from Middlebrook Apartments. I'm getting far away from, my situation here. I'm about to go down there and play and have a good time. But that was in the back of my mind when I left. I checked back with them. And what I also was doing was checking for majors, because I went to James Madison University undeclared, no major, just a football player. What are you majoring in? Offense. What are you majoring in? We ran the spread option. Justin Herbert run the rock. So yeah, what are you majoring in? Chicks. What are you majoring in? Kegonometry, kegonomics. What are you majoring in? Triple option. So then when I did transfer, I was like, all right, I need to go to a school that has two things. One, closer to home, not with all these Bamas, these Southern people where, like, I remember going to the mall and they had a whole Confederate flag store. I remember walking in there and I'm like, oh, the energy in here is not good. I'm like, I got to go back closer to home and I got to find a major. When I was at JMU, I did start to take some communication PR classes, and I knew it wasn't for me. So when I transferred into Monmouth University, I knew that they had two things on campus. In the communication building downstairs, they had a TV set for the on-campus TV network called Hawk TV. And then upstairs, they had a FM radio station called WMCX 88.9 FM. I was like, I'm coming here to play football, and I'll be on scholarship, and I'll major in communication with a focus on radio and TV, and I'll figure it out. And, Monmouth University is an hour away from New York City. There was a train. There's still a train. There's a train that goes from Long Branch to New York Penn Station. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out right here. Airs it out. Cooper DeJean is there. So I come in my first year, and this is before the transfer portal. So it's a redshirt year. You got to sit out again. You don't dress during the games. It sucks. You practice, you lift, you go through all of that stuff, but you cannot play in the game. It sucks. Yeah, I remember that, like being in like a tracksuit and a warm up, not being able to play. You don't travel with the team. It's literally like you're a redshirt freshman. That's why I started hanging out with the freshmen. Like my wife was a freshman that year, and I think like her dorm was across from the freshman football players that I hung out with. So we ended up running into each other because like I wasn't a freshman. I was a junior, but I was like a red shirt junior because with no transfer portal, I'm like, now I see these kids, they got transfer portal, they got NIL, they got everything, bro. They got like, what? You go to college and make $1 million, and if you don't like the school, you could transfer to another college and make $1 million. It's insane. Um, you're not even allowed to take, like back when I went to school, you weren't even allowed to take, impermissible benefits and like cash and stuff like that. But okay, here's the kicker before we get back to the chat. I had a scholarship. I was playing, and I had a really good shot. I switched my position because I wanted to play. I had a really good shot. I started to return kicks and punts, and I started playing receiver. And I was good enough to play inside or outside. I could play X. I could play Z. I could play across the field from the tight end. I could play in the slot, whatever. Um, that summer, I turned 21, and I go out with my brother partying, and we're fighting and wrestling, and we lock up, and my brother cranks me like this, and I step off a curb, and I break my foot. I'll never forget that pain. That pain, like, oh, when you're drunk like that and you break a bone. Oh my God, it was like it like shot up my leg. I was like, yo, chill. Oh boy, that was May of 2009, and the 2009 football season starts in August, and I have to heal a broken foot in 3 months. No shot. So, I mean, I come into camp and I've got the ASO thing, the ASO bandage, the ASO wrap. I got my ankle taped. I'm popping Advils before practice, and I'm playing receiver, and you got to be able to cut. You got to be able to. And it was my left foot. I still feel it. It's my left foot, which is like you can't make hard turns. You can't make hard breaks. And I honestly didn't heal up from that until like late in the season. So I ended up not getting that opportunity to ball. And then the next season, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not gonna play. I'm dropping out. I'm done. I'm like, honestly, I had a crib where I had my DJ set. I had a microphone, and I used to play music. I used to DJ all of the parties. I used to rap. I used to freestyle. Obviously, you guys see me doing the same stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna make it as a rapper or a DJ. I don't need to go to school. I quit. But honestly, between going to James Madison University, also between James Madison University and Monmouth University, I went to Brookdale Community College. I had mad credits. I sat in a lot of hours of class. So when I actually, thought about it, and I basically told, my coach, which is like, here it is again. Life begins when fear ends. There were so many football players that were like, yo, we got to be at lifting. Yo, we got to be at practice. Yo, coach said this, we got to do that. And I'm like, bump that. I'm not doing that. I gave my scholarship back. I always say the one thing that I regret, and I don't have any regrets in life, but I gave my scholarship back the year Chris Hogan transferred in from Penn State. And I remember working out with Jose Gums, who went on to play for the Saints and the Redskins before they were the Commanders. And I remember seeing Chris Hogan on the field, coming out of locker room, coming out of weight room. I just said what's up to him real quick. And we obviously and I end up not playing after that. But then Chris Hogan goes on to be NFL wide receiver, playing for a bunch of teams, and plays with the Patriots and wins Super Bowl. I'm like, what? I wish I would have played that 1 year with Chris Hogan if I would have known. But that wasn't my journey. That wasn't what I was supposed to do. I went rogue. I followed my heart. I followed my dreams. And my dream was to stop playing football and focus on the radio and TV department, get my degree, and get out of there. So that summer I took class, and shout out to my wife. My wife drove me to class and stayed with me that summer. And I graduated that fall. And 10 years later, I got an audition at WFAN and I got my first radio show. The end. Chat time. JPP and Phillip Rivers. What are you talking about? Like JPP and Phillip Rivers, they're not coming back to the NFL. Did I miss something here? Are you trolling here? What's up with all these old heads coming back to the NFL? Jason Pierre-Paul is cooked. Phillip Rivers has like 11 kids. What are we talking about? What are we saying? Philly is the reason you can't change coordinators and just think everything is going to be copacetic. Yeah, they've been changing coordinators every year. From when Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen left to go coach the Colts and the Cardinals. Kellen Moore leaves to go coach the Saints. I just think it's run its course. Hold on, let me get some water. Why Dow? Why all I said was I thought you made a mistake quitting WFAN for live streaming. Did I quit WFAN for live streaming? Yeah. That's what I was saying. I think you're bugging, bro. You guys think this is going to be my new job now? You think this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? I'm telling you stories from going to school and decisions I made that got me to where I am now. I've talked to a lot of people in the last 2 weeks, and I don't think 10% of them view what I did as a mistake. I told you I was going home. I told you I was going to be there for my wife and my son. I also told you I wasn't going to keep doing this. So you're back. You're not blocked. You can hang out. Thanks. But it's like, damn, it's been 2 weeks. Like, do we ought to keep going over the same stuff? I'm flattered. Like, I really am. The conspiracy theories and the interest and the concern, it just reaffirms everything that I already thought. Like, it just makes me sure that, tell us more why I made a mistake for live streaming. When I looked into the camera in the same exact room, did I say I'm quitting WFAN to be a live streamer? No. But I have a YouTube channel, I have a Twitter account, I have a Twitch account where if there was 820 people watching or 8, I would still be visible. I would still be connecting with you guys because this is the way. This is the world right now. Like, this is what people do. But again, like, I have a college degree. I have an 11-year resume. I have 4 years of radio experience on WFAN. Do you think I'm about to just sit in the crib and be a streamer? It's the holiday season. It's the end of the year, bro. I'm chilling, bro. This is what I'm doing to connect to people that are like, yo, where you at? I miss hearing your voice. I miss hearing your stories. I miss hearing your takes. I'm here. Giants got the number 1 pick. Do they trade it or keep the pick? I don't think they'll have the number 1 pick. We went through this last year. Remember they had the number 1 pick and then they lost to the Colts? Or they beat the Colts at home when they should have lost to the Colts? Like, I don't think Jackson Dart is going to just lose the rest of these games. He's going to lose to the Patriots. I don't think he's going to lose the rest of these games. And, picked off again. Oh, and he fumbles. Oh, and then Hurts fumbles. Craziness. So, yeah, I expect the Giants to have a top 5 pick. I don't think they'll have number 1 overall. 6-7 will never die. My 6-year-old says it. I bet the 6 and 7-year-olds, they say it all the time. Yeah, you're right, man. I do miss Fleegs in the ear from 12 to 2. Shout out to Fleegs. Fleegs hit me last week. Like, I will say that, like, not just with my decision, but with all of the different people that work at WFAN and Infinity Sports Network, it's a lot of change. There's a lot of people that were used to seeing each other longer than I was there that will not be seeing each other every day. That's a small football. Is that mini size? See, Jackson, this is why you got blocked, dude. Cause like you got a lot of troll energy. They made the new football smaller. I don't play anymore, but when I did play in high school and college, we use these GSTs. This is old. This ball is from like 2011. This is a college game ball. Like, look at my hands on the ball. This is not a little ball. You know what I'm saying? I will be 40 April 9th. Happy early birthday. My son will be 3 April 13th. You got to do street live stream? I will. I will. In the Bronx. Stay tuned. You're 20 seconds ahead of me. Yeah, but I'm way behind in the chat. I'm like half an hour back in the chat. See, Jackson, again, bro, I'm trying to be patient with you. You're streaming to 12 people. No offense, just a reality check. There is no reality check. When you do radio, you have no idea how many people are listening. I just said if there's 820 people or 8 people, I'm going to be the same. I used to tell my mom the same thing when I played football. I don't care who's watching. If there's 8 people in the stands or 8,000, I'm going to be me. You're not the man. If you can play college football, I can play college football. You're anonymous. No one knows who you are, but here you are at 9 o'clock on a Monday night in my chat, and I'm entertaining you. If the transfer portal existed in your time, would you have entered the portal? Yeah. And maybe went somewhere else. I don't know. Man, the transfer portal is so crazy. Like, I don't think anybody was thinking about that. Yeah, I gotta stop entertaining these guys. Sorry for the losers in the chat. But for the people that are cool and just come to hang out and have regular things to say, like I don't know what to tell y'all. If you think I made a mistake, why are you here? If you think I need a reality check, then why are you adding one more number to my live stream? You know what I've learned through this whole like couple week experience? There's so many people on the outside of like media and entertainment industry that don't have a clue. They don't get it at all. And that's why they keep making all of these live streams and documentaries and podcasts. They could just keep feeding some of y'all this stuff. You don't have a clue how any of this stuff works. I could be watching this on my couch in front of nobody, but I am an entertainer. I could be watching this on my couch and not stream for anyone at all. This stuff is all monetized. Am I going to make my rent off of this live stream tonight? No, but that's okay. I don't need to. I'm hanging out because there's people that I rock with, like Zachary. I hope you come back to WFAN. That's not my decision. My decision was to no longer do the nighttime radio show. And what happens after that is out of my hands. Good throw. Dre Harris getting involved. I thought his name was Trey Harris. I'm pretty sure his name's Trey Harris, and Joe Buck just called him Dre Harris. And on top of that, Trey Harris, does he have a lineage? No, a Gadsden his father played. But it happens. Don't you always love that when you watch a game and you hear the broadcasters like say a name wrong or say information wrong? And you're like, I knew that. I went to a Hawks football game, met a whole team. Yeah. Now I'm not entertaining this loser, but I do want to speak on this. Working hard is a waste of time. It's not really worth it. Oh man. Like If you think that I don't work hard and I'm not a hard worker and I didn't work hard at WFAN and I didn't work hard to get to WFAN and I didn't work hard at everything else I did before that, like that's why you're wherever you are anonymously in the chat. You can work harder, you can work smarter, and everybody's definition of working hard is not the same. Yeah, I showed the shirt before, so now we're getting back to that part of the chat. I'm trying to get current. Yeah, what's changed? You're a quitter in ball and career. I'm successful. What are you? THHDR8. Like, that's why we can't even entertain these people. They're just letters, bro. They're nobodies. I'm a quitter that you're subscribed to my channel. You're in my chat watching. Yep, I quit everything. Like, I'm rooting for you to quit watching. Nice shirt. Thank you. With my first time going to any type of football game was going to a Monmouth game. Cool. JMU and Tulane are stories, not realistic winning football programs. College football, but fumble picking. Okay, so both JMU and Tulane have been winning franchises, winning programs. They're great stories, but to say they're not realistic winning football programs, they are. They're not realistically winning the college football playoff, but why would you expand the college football playoff for this to even happen without letting it happen? Yeah, let's see. Now we're getting current. Don't keep entertaining them, bro. But see, the thing about me, and shout out to Bill coming back, I'm just reading the chat one by one. And like, this stuff doesn't bother me. This stuff doesn't affect me. We're just talking. This doesn't change anything. I don't know this guy. I could walk down the street tomorrow morning. He could walk right past me. I wouldn't know it's him. He would know it's me though. He would know it's me though. Um, yeah, I just got him up out of the paint. Um, it's funny because like these people show up in my chat to say all these things about me, but it can never be returned. And you're here. Like, what are you? So much haters in the chat tonight. They come with the territories. They come with the territory. If you do anything of substance, I remember like I used to be a big KD fan with the Brooklyn Nets, right? And even before, I used to look at KD's Twitter, and anytime KD would tweet, it'd be the same people under KD's Twitter trolling him. And I'm like, damn, that's what it's like when you actually are a winner and successful, and these people want your attention. And you know what I said? I think I told you on the last stream, New Year's resolution, and we're not there yet. New Year's resolution, no entertaining these goofies, man. Because I got too many people that show love that are like, yo, I want to talk to you. Yo, I miss your show. Yo, you're the man. And when you entertain these goofies, you take away time from the people that are showing love. All right, checking my text. Justin Herbert drops back. He's sacked. It looked like another intentional grounding. Flag. Lad McConkey was in the area. Oh, write this in there. Dope. Let me know your schedule the rest of the week. I know you're working. Yeah, like I don't know. If I was in a bad spot, I would hide. I wouldn't be on camera. If I was fired, I'd have a way different demeanor and approach, right? If I felt like I made a mistake and I didn't do what was right for me and my family, I would like. It's just funny how many people just don't get it, man. And that's okay. That's life. That's the world. Bill says, "You know what? I have a question. Since you've been on radio and TV since before the pandemic, how much have things changed that you noticed since before and after? Has doing radio remote become more common?" Okay, so I was on TV before the pandemic. I wasn't on the radio before. And great question, Bill, because now I get to lay out. Um, I came into WWF, WWE. I came into WFAN for an audition in August of 2021. So the pandemic was pretty much over. It was at the tail end. People started going back to work, I think that like September. And what I'll say is I never did a remote show. So as you know, we had Jackson Black, who is now banned and removed from the chat, talking about, oh, you don't work hard, you're a quitter. Name somebody else who's done every single show in their WFAN career or radio career from the station, never doing one at home. I did every single show at the station. And no problem, right? No problem. I don't live that far. And even when I lived in other places, wasn't that far of a ride, wasn't that far of a drive commute. Um, but how has it changed? How much has it changed since before and after? I'll say this. With the pandemic, with the election, I remember in that time there was just a lot of wait and see. There were a lot of people waiting to see how things would change post pandemic and how the election would shake out before they would like spend money, before they would take chances on things. And I mean, here we are now, and I feel like people aren't really still, doing too much. But yeah, I was on Yes Network, and I had a couple other little opportunities in like 2019, 2020. Um, I had some news hits. I had little things. But as far as a full-time job, I got my full-time radio job in November of 2021, which again, as we just passed November and you guys count 4 years, my contract was not up because I signed an extension, but I did 4 calendar years, and I knew that in that 4 calendar years, I had done a lot of damage to my biorhythms, my sleep schedule, my mental health. I knew in the 2.5 years that my son had been born, and I went back to work from paternity leave and really put that stress on my wife and my son of daddy leaving at night and not being available in the morning, and then also not being available on Saturday mornings, being tired, being irritable. This guy, you're going to have to bench this guy. Jalen Hurts just threw another pick. That's 3 interceptions in the first half. You can't get anything going. What is he doing? But yeah, so good question, Bill. Long story short, short story long. What has changed? The internet. What I'll say is when the pandemic hit, I was working with John Boy and those guys. And I remember saying, and I remember watching them work, more, story time for you guys. We literally have a captive audience. Everybody's at home. Nobody's going to the movies. Nobody's going to live games. Nobody's going to concerts. Nobody's going to the bar. No. I'm like, we literally every single day have a captive audience that if you push out content, you will build views, subscribers, followers. And when the pandemic hit, John Boy's office for John Boy Media, if you guys remember that first video that launched for John Boy Media saying that, like, we're going to cover the Yankees, we're going to do it in the Bronx. It was John Boy, Jake, me, and Joe's, and we were in the 930 Grand Concourse office, and we walked down the street to Yankee Stadium and shot the video about like, yo, we're going to cover the Yankees. I had on the Talking Nets hoodie. Joe's was doing Pinstripe Strong and brought that over. And Jimmy and Jake were doing Talking Yanks and Talking Baseball. And because the pandemic hit and it shut everything else down, and they made a smart decision, it was serendipity. They made a decision to get a office which was in a residential building. The first John Boy Media office was not in a commercial building. It was in a residential building. If it was in a commercial building, they would have shut it down. They wouldn't have had access to go in there every day in the pandemic. But because it was in a residential building where people lived and people had to come and go, we were able to come and go. And I remember, my wife getting COVID and her dad getting COVID and me being kind of like, yo, we shouldn't be like, bro, I remember we had a party at Billy's planned, and it was supposed to be like a season kickoff party at Billy's, and we had to cancel the Billy's party. and people weren't taking COVID serious. And I remember John Boy and Jake, right? Because they were telling people, wash your hands, be safe with germs, don't touch people, don't drink other people's drinks, stuff like that, like how it could spread. And I remember in the video, John Boy and Jake were like touching each other, sharing drinks, and like kind of mocking the fact that like, yeah, we got to cancel our party because of this coronavirus. I remember going to spring training that year with John Boy, Jake, Joe's, BBD. Everybody was down there. We saw Garrett Cole. I think Garrett Cole pitched against the Tigers. And I remember I specifically only drank and bought Coronas during that trip, saying I was going to be immune from the coronavirus. I already got it. I already got Corona in my system. Nobody was taking it serious. But man, I was doing social media managing for like at John Boy Media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I remember John Boy and Jake doing that show, Watching Baggage. And I remember just them cranking out stuff for YouTube. And I was helping however I could. But then I was also doing Pinstripe Strong with Joe's, and I was doing Talking Nets. And since it was the pandemic, you could literally just put out content and build and stack and build and stack. So going back to what, how much have things changed? I think the streamers, the podcasters, the creators that were alive during the pandemic, even if that was the infancy of their brands and their business, they got a bump that has been sustained for 5 years to, where we are now. Pam is different, right? Pam says, I have a good time on this chat. Always supportive, always positive. I literally love her. Never a bad word, always there. And I know Pam feels some type of way when people come through the hate, but Pam, don't take them serious. They don't know any better. They don't know how to just be in the chat and be regular and chill. Any thoughts on school skipping bowls, death of bowls? Notre Dame was pretty childish skipping. There's two things now. A lot of these guys are going to go to the NFL. A lot of these guys are going to sit out the bowl anyway. A lot of these guys also are entering the transfer portal where they're going to sit out of the bowl anyway because they're going to transfer to another school to try and start. So, like, you could risk going to a bowl and getting somebody hurt. You could risk going to a bowl and not having your full complement of players and losing. Duke last year, I remember watching that bowl game with Jackson Dart. I remember being on the air, and I'm like, this is the guy that's going to rise. I'm like, I don't know if I believe all the hype, but he balled and he made some throws in that Duke game. I think it was like the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl or something. And Duke just won the ACC against Virginia, but last year they didn't have their full complement of players. They were like missing like a starting linebacker, their starting quarterback. So it's a sign of the times. It's because of the transfer portal, NIL, and NFL draft that these schools are like, nah, we don't need to play. It is a money grab, but like Notre Dame doesn't need the money, and they got pride. They feel like they were snubbed. They feel like they should be in. So like, no, we're not going to go play in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Do you think there's too many teams in college football playoffs? No. So coming from FCS and 1AA, it was always a 16-team playoff format. A few years back, my two schools played each other. It was amazing. It was JMU versus Monmouth University in the 16-team playoff. JMU obviously won, but I was like, this is sick. Like, so like it's college football. They want to make it like March Madness. It's amateur sports, man. Like it would be great if one of these lower seed teams could knock off one of the higher seed teams, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And I know earlier in the chat people were talking about JMU having a chance at Oregon. Hell no, I don't believe so. I'm gonna be watching. I might even have a little party lined up. We're working on a little get together, a little watch along live stream. But like, I am not confident that those kids from Harrisonburg, Virginia, go to Eugene, Oregon, and do anything against Dan Lanning's team. It's a different ball game, bro. It's a different world of football. Like, it's a different level, and like, you got to be able to throw with those teams. You got to be able to stop the pass. You got like, like, they're bigger. Pause. Like, the players are just bigger. The players are just like, they're bigger, faster, stronger. It's just another level of college football in the NIL era. Like you're playing against Oregon. Like a lot of those kids are getting drafted or going to the league. You're playing against JMU. Most of those kids aren't going to the league. Like a couple of those kids are going to the league. Here's the bracket. So you can't see in the top if the live is over it, but um, let's see if I can do this. Oh no, it doesn't shift me. No. But yeah, JMU Oregon up top. Texas Tech will get a bye after they won the Big 12. Alabama, Oklahoma, that should be fun. And Alabama, people are talking about Alabama. Listen, Alabama is a college team that's really a pro team. What I mean is like down there in Alabama, they have nothing else. Down there in Alabama, they go hard for the Tide. They don't care about nothing but the Tide. Roll Tide. So like they're going to get in because they're going to give you TV ratings and ticket sales. Their fans are going to show up. Their fans are going to watch. Indiana gets the bye after Fernando Mendoza and crew barely get by Ohio State, but good enough. A win is a win. Tulane and Ole Miss, that's going to be a good old Southern matchup, but I'm pretty sure Ole Miss will handle them. But Tulane's been playing good football. Go look at their record the last few years. Like they've got a little something going on down there. Georgia gets the bye. When you meet the Georgia Bulldogs, you're going to feel the Bulldog bite. Miami, the U, another team that just has a ton of fans from their dominance in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. They're going to play Texas Tech. Ohio State gets the bye. So I think it's going to be fun. If there was one lower seed team that I think can pull off an upset, it's Miami. And maybe Oklahoma. But like wouldn't look at that as an upset. I think Miami would be the only real upset lower seed team, 10 versus a 7. But it's gonna be fun. Like this is what we wanted. They expanded it. They went from, the bowl championship series to the 4-game playoff series to now this expanded playoff, and I think it's good. I think it's good for the country. I think it's good for these kids at JMU to get to play on a nationally televised game against Oregon. That would never happen. Oregon would never book JMU to play out there. Where are we at? Going back in the chat, but we're closer to being current now, and I don't know. This game is not really that lit. It's 10-3. Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over with 3 interceptions. So kind of hard to win when your quarterback is handing them the ball. And now Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense are at the 4-yard line going in to score. No, this just restarted. Look at this. I'm like, what? I'm like, I saw it already. I knew they were throwing the ball at Amari and Hampton. No, I think what I did was exit out, and it started me catch up to watch live game. Like I said, for some reason, Fubo overrode my monitor. Okay, still 10-3, Chargers. A minute 13 left in the first half, and we'll definitely get into more comments and stuff in the halftime break. We'll really hammer it then. But where was this? There was one thing I wanted to hit. Oh, Burner Baseball, Cam, as a new parent, proud of you for prioritizing your family. You can't get that time back. These kids grow up so quickly. Do you, brother? Yeah, that's something else I said. I'm no longer explaining to people because I know there's a lot of people that don't have kids. And when I didn't have kids, I had no idea. You don't know what you don't know. And I can't tell you how proud I am of my wife and my son. I can't tell you how much of my motivation they are. Like, do you think I would put them in any type of jeopardy or a bad situation? No, they need me, and I can't tell you how much I feel like I needed to do what I did because, like, little examples, right? When I was on, let's say I was on tonight after Monday Night Football, And I'm being transparent. I'm giving you guys literally an insight to my life because like I'm not lying, and I want people to know my story because it's real. And I'm going to be better than all right. Touchdown, AJ Brown, but there's a flag. So here's like step into my world in my shoes. I pick up my son from daycare at 6 o'clock. I have to watch him cook dinner, and my wife has a full time job as well. By the time she finishes working and gets home at 7 o'clock, um, dinner is ready. Tonight I made stir fry steak fajitas, like um, steak stir fry, season it up good, cilantro, salt, pepper, little paprika, red wine vinegar, like a bunch of little like seasoning, some yellow rice, red onion, white onion, red pepper, yellow pepper. I make all that up. Boom, bop, bam. My wife comes in quickly. We got to eat dinner at like 7:15. Then we got to get my son bathed, and my wife knew I was streaming tonight, so she did the bathing. But for all of those times that I was leaving at 5:30, 6, she would have to do the cooking dinner, feeding my son, bathing my son, putting his pajamas on, getting him to calm down, relax, read him a story, put him to bed. And if you don't have kids, you don't understand. They are wild cards. They have tantrums, and one thing can set them off. Like when my son, I just was here. I didn't start the live because my son was being very particular about tucking his toes in, and he was screaming at 8:15, "My toes, tuck my toes in." His toes weren't tucked in. That's how kids are. So, um, if I was leaving tonight to go and be on the radio, I would have to have a show prepared, probably about the, college football playoff. Um, I would probably have to be prepared to talk about Don Mattingly and Jeff Kent. I'd probably have to be prepared to talk about Brady Cook and the Jets game. I'd probably have to be prepared to talk about the Giants having the number one overall pick in their upcoming game. I'd probably have to be prepared to talk about winter meetings and what the Yankees are and aren't doing, and condense that into a 2-hour show and take calls, and then come home and try and go to sleep around 2:33, and come into the house, be very quiet. I would probably eat at the station. I probably would have brought the fajitas to the station, ate at the station at like 11 o'clock between a break, so that when I come home, I'm not loud. Got to creep in, close the door very slowly, brush your teeth, wash your face, be quiet, don't wake anybody up. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, a nice one, but it's still not a big space where, like, if I lived in a house where I could come in through the back door and go sleep downstairs, that's one thing. I don't. Like, this is New York. That's another thing. Some of you do not live in New York, do not live in Hoboken, Jersey City, Brooklyn, Long Island. Like, you guys don't live in the surrounding areas. You don't understand, whatever. So then I would have to go to sleep from about 3 a.m. if I fall asleep, because I might be thinking, my mind might be racing. I might be thinking about Christmas coming up. I might be thinking about the JMU game coming up. I might be thinking about my own bills and my own life and my own conquest, and I might not be able to go to bed. So let's say I don't fall asleep till 4, which happens a lot. And a lot of times I used to listen to Big Mac show. So we can dispel another rumor. Um, people think that I left WFAN because I wasn't given the opportunity to be the co-host with Craig and like that. Like, I didn't even know that was happening. And I'm super happy for Big Mac. I think he's one of the best at the station. I listen to his show all the time, and I told multiple people, hey, watch his live stream, tune into his show. So I would listen to Big Mac show until I could fall asleep. My son gets up no matter what in that 7 to 7:30 window, and some mornings he's got a poopy diaper. Every morning he's got a full pee-pee diaper. But if it's a poopy diaper, it could be what we call a poopy fire drill. A poopy fire drill could be he reached into his diaper and wiped poop all in the crib. That means all that's got to be cleaned. You got to take the cover off the mattress. You got to take his stuffed animals, his blankets. You got to take all of his pajamas off, throw it in the wash. You got to throw him into the shower, hose him off. Oh, this is happening after I was asleep for 3.5 hours. It's chaos. This is literally something that would happen once a week. He's kind of grown out of it. He's grown up, but also I'm sleeping now. I'll be asleep tonight at 11:30. But then when I'm telling you guys about your mental health and like with kids, you have to be extremely patient. If you're low on sleep, you're low on patience. I remember there was one morning I had to apologize to him and my wife. I was trying to help where I get up in the morning because all I hear is, I want daddy, daddy, daddy. He can bang on the door. My son's big enough now. Bang on the door. He knows I'm in there. I'm waking up. And I'm trying to help my wife get him dressed. And I'm trying to get his shoe on. And he's fighting me with his shoe where I just was like, fuck it. And I like threw the shoe. And I went back in the room, like slammed the door and went to sleep. That's not the way to treat your baby. That's not the way to start the morning with your wife and your son. But like if you're irritable and you're stressed and you're not sleeping correctly, what if something goes on in this crazy New York City world where they leave the house and don't come back? The last time I saw them was me flipping out over a boot not getting on my son's shoe and my son throwing a tantrum and my wife being like, it got to a point where I knew I couldn't do it anymore. And there were days where if I did a 5-hour KM to AM and I had to leave at 5:30, my son would come out of daycare at 6 and daddy's not home. And then I would come home a little bit earlier, but still sometimes when you're wired to not go to sleep till 3, 4 in the morning, you can come home at 12 and not just be able to come down and go to sleep. You're on air in New York City on a live stream on the airwaves with bright lights and taking calls and reading and doing stuff. Like it's not as easy as people think. I know people think we all just talk. And like, you had an idiot in the chat was like, oh, you're a quitter. You don't work hard. Like, you don't know anything about me, bro. And I don't know anything about you. You're anonymous. But I'm giving you guys this window into my situation at home because it was not sustainable anymore. It became chaotic on a Monday through Friday basis. And it became too much for my wife to be a single mother and too much for my young son to not know why his dad isn't there for dinner and bath time and bedtime and why daddy can't get up to, pour me some cereal, get me a bar, get me some milk. And like, I couldn't do it anymore. Like I that was the main thing. Now, were there other things that were factoring into it? Yeah. That's why I didn't quit as soon as my son was born. That's why I didn't, leave the position when my son was 1 or 1.5. It got to this point. I ran my race for 4 years and I feel more than good about it. There's some people that don't feel good about that. And I don't know them. And they don't affect my bills. They don't affect my family situation. My wife feels better. I feel better. Like I finally have adjusted. Okay, now Justin Herbert's throwing interceptions. Adoree Jackson, former Giant, with the pick. I was saying last week, and I just got tired of like I'm not doing this forever. You know, pretty soon we'll get back to just talking sports. But I was saying I was having these I was having these headaches morning and night because I could not go to sleep. Even now, like at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna take some magnesium and some melatonin. But I was getting these like headaches, like the side of my head, like bro, it sucked. Because for 4 years I was programmed to go to sleep at 3, 4 in the morning. And then when I tried to adjust to being on a regular sleep schedule, like I don't know, most human beings, my body was bugging out. Oh snap! You had a WWF audition. I wish, man. I wish I wouldn't be sitting here right now. WWF into WWE. What is the monetization for a live stream with 12 viewers? I don't know. Let me check the back end. Um, it's not a lot, obviously, but hey, slow money is better than no money. I know creators right now that are trying to get monetized. I know creators right now that have a ton of videos and a ton of hours on live and they're not monetized. They're doing it just to get monetized. I've made some decent money off of YouTube in the last year and a half that I've been monetized. Every time it gets to $100, they pay you out direct deposit. And I was averaging like $100 a month. And again, like I got to remind folks, choose where to save your passkey. What is this? Continue. Go. Passkey created. This is not my job. This is not going to be my job. Like, like I, I'm a grown man, dog. I don't have to be an influencer streamer. You know, I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this while I'm home. I'm doing this because there's somebody in the chat that's like, yo, this is my favorite radio host. There's somebody in the chat that's like, yo, this is my boy I went to high school with, I went to college with. There's somebody in the chat that's like, yo, I'd rather watch the game and chill and listen to Keith tell stories and talk. This is cool. I couldn't get this from him um, with radio only. So yeah, like let me see. Like I can't show you like per video. Um, let's see. But you got this, right? Here's, like I said, it pays you out every 100. Like there's the progress towards the next 100. We're at 39.56. And, you know, people can throw supers. Some people throw you a $2 super. I've had $20 supers, and that gets you closer. Um, but again, I have a 11-year resume. I have a college degree. Like before I did radio, I tried to tell you guys what I did. Before I did radio, I had 4 years of experience doing social media. If I wanted to, I could go back to working in marketing and be a social media director right now. It would probably be easier for me because I built a public name. You know what I'm saying? Like it was harder for me when I quit my MTV job and I drove Lyft Uber for a month and then I got hired at Fubo TV. And then Rock Nation came calling and poached me from Fubo TV. And after 3 months at Rock Nation, I quit that job. You guys seeing a trend here? You guys picking up on a trend here? I remember seeing you on Yes a bunch early on. That's what got me into you in the first place. Yeah. Shout out to the good folks at Yes Network. They were on me early. They were on me in 2019. I was in Connecticut on set. I had a bunch of commercials. I just came across one that I put a little note in my calendar, you know, because I get it. People don't know. This is like this WFN, me kind of, you know, announcing that I'm stepping down is the most viral thing I've ever put out there. And so there's a lot of people that aren't aware of me that are just like, I don't know, they're just coming in now. That's okay. That's why I'm doing these things. But yeah, I gotta repost um this Christmas Yes Network commercial we did. Where is it? I gotta scroll back forever because it was so long ago. Oh, I don't even know. I thought I saved it. I thought I took the link and put it. Um, here's me and Nick Cannon. So when I used to work at MTV, I started all of the Nick Cannon Wild and Out social media accounts, and I was the like social media manager, live tweeting during Wild and Out in like 2015, 16. That's what I'm saying to you guys, man. If anybody is looking at this live stream, like this guy's streaming for 12 people, this is all he's gonna do, you're bugging out. It is December 8th, almost 9th, and I'm in the crib, and I create content, and I enjoy talking to people, and I'm literally telling my story. And when we get to the next thing, we get to the next thing, but I'm not in a rush. Oh my God, your sleep schedule must have been miserable. My sleep schedule is a mess, and I don't do what you do. It was. But you know what? You can get so stuck in like, I'm a radio host. I work at WFAN. I'm living the dream. Oh, I did it. I can't let this go. I got to go to work. I got to figure it out. Oh, I'm all right. I'll drink. And that's another thing. I was drinking hot coffee in the morning. I was drinking Celsius. I had to stop drinking Celsius. You guys drink Celsius? It can be like crack. Okay, here we go. Yes, network. That is 12/18/2019. This is me on the streets of New York during SantaCon, giving out free Yankees swag, posters, koozies. We got Garrett Cole. It was like right after Garrett Cole signed. Nobody had heard me on WFAN. I was years away from WFAN. So like what I'm trying to tell you guys is like when you do make it in media, when you do become somebody that's like you have some experience. Like I could possibly never be on the radio or television again, but I just doubt that. I have a resume. I have years of experience. I have a good name out here, good relationships. I've never done anything crazy to anybody. I've never, I have an agent. Like, I'm young in the game. I'm very young in the game. You guys are listening to people on the radio in New York that are 20, 25 years older than me. My OG Steve Summers, 40 years older than me. WFAN as a station, 1 year older than me. At that time, everyone was living on Instagram and YouTube. That's why at that time, so many content creators on YouTube did so well, and a bunch had a major drop off since things got back to normal. Yeah, because a lot of them weren't able to adapt. They weren't able to take their content out with them. They weren't able, like, once it was like, hey, we're not sitting at home anymore. You got to go build. They weren't able to do that. We all we had was streaming, no sports live or anything, right? So all you had was like something new on YouTube. I remember John Boy did a like game show, and Trevor Bauer was one of the guests. And that was before all the Trevor Bauer stuff came out. That was before, we heard about Trevor Bauer, and I think they scrubbed that off the internet. I can imagine at that time being freaked out, getting COVID and passing it on. Oh yeah, dude. I remember they stopped the sports. I think my wife's birthday is March 12th. And there was a New York Post article the day sports ended because they stopped the sports that night before, and that next day, March 12th, there were no sports. They stopped the basketball game. I think it was like OKC versus Utah. Um, the Nets were supposed to play like the Golden State Warriors. That got dubbed. We were about to go to Montreal. The Yankees were supposed to play the Blue Jays in the old Montreal Canadian, not the Canadians, the Montreal Expos Olympic Park. The Yankees were supposed to play a preseason game against the Blue Jays in Montreal. My wife and I had full on plans to go. I remember calling Air Canada that day, and they didn't even have wind of it. I was like, yeah, we're canceling this, and they're like, COVID, what? That was Cole's first season with us, right? Yep. 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 Yeah. The lone silencer. Would they eventually go 16 teams, you think? I think so. They could go from 12 to 16. I think over the next few years, they're going to make some regulations for NIL and the college system because it's a mess. They have to. It's a wild, wild west. 16 teams seems inevitable. Or it'll be Oregon, Texas Tech. Texas Tech wins that one. Alabama, and Indy wins by double digits. I don't know, man. Well, let's see how it plays out. It's going to be fun this year. I think it's going to be better than last year was. And I don't think it's Ohio State repeating. Miami is winning by double digits against A&M, and they beat Ohio State as well. What kind of shows and movies do you like outside of sports? I'm going to see Bill knows how to be in the chat and ask the right questions. I'm going to star some of Bill's stuff, and I'm going to get us caught up. You were making me hungry. This is when I was talking about what I cooked for dinner. Enjoy your time with family now. You never get this back. That's what I'm saying, dude. My son is rapidly advancing. His speech is advancing. He's not a baby anymore. And you know what he's never going to grow up and say? Yo, Dad, you really killed it on the radio when I was 2 at night. Yo, Dad, thank you for paying for my college with all those radio shows you did in the middle of the night. Like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Every morning you walk in there and it's like, he can talk now. Where now I walk in, I say, did you poopy? And he'll say yes, or he'll say no. And, that's the first thing you got to handle. And there's a lot of times where he fights. He don't want that diaper to come off. He wants to slowly get up. Don't be so hard on yourself, man. It's not the best way to handle it, but give yourself some grace. Oh, I have. In the heat of the moment when you're tired and frustrated, you're not the best state of mind. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm human. I'm human, man. And I realized working nights and chasing this dream and this conquest, it was making me not the the right kind of husband or father. It was making me not the right kind of person as far as like how I needed to be at home. My guy, transparency is appreciated, brother. Yeah, who else is doing this? Um, that's because I'm real, bro. That's why I'm not hiding from anything. I told y'all my reasons, and people can come up with other things, but you can't come up with this. And I've done some acting and some casting calls and some, stuff like that in my life, but I'm not acting right now. I'm telling you the truth. All that matters is if things are working better for you and your family. They are. After the choice you made, then that's all that really matters. You got fans, but we're just a bunch of faceless people who support you. Yeah, but you know what? Sorry, my nose is always itching. Like I don't know what it is, allergy. And like I know my mom is was texting me, stop scratching your nose, but I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Um, it is what it is. There are probably 100 messages that I received via email and DM that really like hit me over the head. People that express things to me and my show and stories I've told and how much it meant to them. And I'm like, sorry to let y'all down, but I'm gonna be available. Check out the live stream. I'm gonna be available. I'm not. You think I'm done with my media career? Media is shifting and changing. I'm not done. I'm not done. Yeah, I mean the Jets lose that game. They should lose the rest of their games and try to get that kid. Um, um, well, you can take the social media experience, marketing experience, your TV, radio, and fold it into exactly. So like McPherson brand, the YouTube channel that you're on, people are like, oh, what are you building a media company? Maybe I'll just do that every time I got to scratch my nose. McPherson brand was established in November of 2023. And to get deep with you again, my son was born in April of 2023. And my family has no family business. I'm the first person in my family to go to college and graduate with a 4-year degree. I'm definitely the first and only one to have any type of like public facing radio, TV, social following. And I started thinking when my son was born, man, I got to learn more about business. I got to learn more about turning my actual brand into a brand and a business where I could start making us more money and like make a family company that like let's say one day I am famous to the point where like I can, really start doing that. Like it starts somewhere. So I made the LLC and you know what? Through the grace of God, I made the LLC in 2023 and things started happening outside of WFAN. And what I learned, right? I did things outside of WFAN that were taxed just individually to me. And I learned you got to write stuff off. Like all this stuff is a write off, bro. This monitor here, write off. Um, the microphones I got, write off. Like all this stuff, you can write it off as an expense to do your work and do your job. And I've kept track of all that stuff, and it falls under McPherson Brand LLC. Like when I did this commercial with Ford this year, which is one of my like biggest accomplishments of the year, that got paid out under McPherson Brand LLC. Like you guys don't know all this stuff. That's why I say I laugh at how much like some of these people online think they know and they don't know. Like when you become anybody and you're able to make business on the side, you need to do it right. You need to file it the right way. You need to keep record of it. Like, okay, perfect example. This year, um, I did some work with the New York Red Bulls, right? I I I did the New York Red Bulls voiceover and that jersey I'm wearing. I did the voiceover for that Stone Kid, and I did the voiceover for um, their season kickoff. I made a few $1,000s through the Red Bulls, and shout out to the Red Bulls. Like that was solid. Like what they paid me, we negotiated. They paid me what I asked for. that doesn't go straight into my personal bank account. That goes under McPherson Brand LLC. The government knows I am doing business as Keith McPherson, the McPherson Brand LLC. There's record of that. That will help you in the future when it's time to get loans. That will help you in the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're establishing some credit as well. I have, like, people think I'm just out here doing whatever. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm learning and I'm doing, and I'm trying to take care of my family. And what I really do hope, right, as you do build your own personal brand and platform and things, nobody can take that away from you. So let's say I strike out completely. Let's say no other radio, TV, no Bleacher Report, Barstool, FanDuel, Amazon, Netflix. Let's say nobody wants to work with Keith McPherson ever again. Keith McPherson sucks. I will have my McPherson Brand LLC, my YouTube channel, and then my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok to fall back on, where there are people that have no radio experience, no marketing experience, no resume, no agent, making money. You know what I'm saying? It is not my end all be all. It is not my priority. It is something that I have that I did not always have, right? I did this with Fanatics Sportsbook. I I forgot that I did that. I just followed up with them this week. I was like, yo, did I ever get paid for that? That is going to get paid out this week through my LLC. There's business here, bro. I don't know how to, like, fully articulate it to you guys, right? Right. When I go to the David Cohn golf outing as like a celebrity at the David Cohn celebrity golf outing, they run us a check. They cut us a check. The check goes to my LLC. So yeah, man. I don't exactly know how to articulate that. Like, WFAN is great, but I am not on the morning, midday, or afternoon. And when I came in as the nighttime host, amazing opportunity, dream, all of that. But life changed for me, and I had to make a change because I was struggling, my family was struggling. And like, I got a lot of confidence in myself. I know I'll be fine. I know I'll do a bunch of different things because I have talent and work ethic. And I also have a bunch of people rooting for me. I'm trying to find that I'm trying to find that Ford video now. I post too many videos. It's too hard to find, you know. But like, little things like influencer marketing stuff, right? When you do influencer marketing, you should have it fall under an LLC. That is business that is created off of a brand that I built. That is business created on the side of my WFAN, um, salary. You can put it in your regular bank account, but I just think it's better to do it this way. There's other benefits from, doing it the right way. You know, when I go out to the Somerset Patriots and I do work out there with them, right? Hey, Keith, you want to come host, and get on the mic and throw out the first pitch? Yeah. Okay. Who do we write the check out to? McPherson Brand LLC. Influencer stuff. Poland Spring. It's business, bros. It's business, bros. And I suggest you young guys that are doing content and want to be somebody, you start thinking about the business side of it. I started learning about it late. I started learning about it really late. I wish I knew about it sooner, but whatever. No time better than the present. What kind of shows and movies do you like outside of sports? Nada. Zip zero. Um, I used to be into Marvel and DC comics. I used to be into some anime, but now I don't have any time to watch stuff. I watch sports, and now I create content. I guess halftime is probably over here. I should cut that back on. I couldn't tell you. There's no streaming show that I watch. There's no. I watch BT and Sal on YouTube. You know, I watch Big Mac on YouTube at night. I used to have SNY and watch Evan and Tiki, but Fubo got rid of it. Um, I watch sports shows. I'll watch Dan Patrick talk. I'll watch Jim Rome talk. I'll watch Colin Cowherd talk. I'll watch First Things First. I'll watch First Take for a little bit. I'll watch Get Up. I'll watch Sports Center. I'm a sports guy. I just watch sports stuff. I watch Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Red Zone, Sunday Night Football. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You did what you felt was best for you and your family, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. No, I know. But it's 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and it keeps coming up. And I know, like people, like the drama and the controversy of all of it is what people like. That's why I said I was laughing. I was like, yo, the character that people have created for me in this WFAN drama series, like, I'm flattered, bro, because like it's clear that y'all don't know me. Like I'm not on it like that. Like, I told y'all straight to the camera why I gave up my spot, and that wasn't good enough. People had to come up with some other theories. Where we at? How many kids did he have at that time? Who were you talking about? Steve Summers? I don't think Steve Summers has any kids. Right. The fact that you're giving people the time of day is dope. Yeah, because you know what? That first week, I was up on Thanksgiving Eve answering emails and DMs. People pouring their heart out. And I was like, I owe it to these people because I used to be on air and I say, shout out to the people that never call. Because I know that there's somebody out there that loves my show, loves my story, is rooting for me, but they don't want to be on air. They don't want to talk. They don't want to say where they're from or say their name, but they don't miss a show. And I got a lot of those messages of like, damn, is it true? Don't leave us. And I'm like, I did 4 years. I did 2.5 years with a baby. I'm sorry, it was time. I ran my race. And when I got to the finish line of 4 years, I was like, that's it. No mas. No mas. Now, like I said, what happens next is not on me. It's not my decision. I said in my video, I'm willing to do some nights. I'm willing to do some fill-in spots. But like, I don't make those decisions. And the same way I don't make those decisions, I'm not in on the decisions about Craig Carton coming in and BT and Sal move. Nobody checks on me for that. They don't have to run that by me. I'm the youngest guy. I'm the nighttime guy. I come in there at 10 o'clock. Like, so people try to say all this stuff about, oh, was there writing on the wall? What wall are you talking about? There was writing on the wall for me that I had to go home and be a family man. Good run. Get out of bounds. Don't take a hit. See, if that was Jackson Dart, he would have tried to get a couple more yards and got boomed. WFAN and ESPN Radio, most of the radio personalities are much older. That's why I like when the younger guys get some light shining on them. Like WFAN is a little bit younger. Morash is 39. I think Big Mac is 41. Tommy is 40. Evan is 42. And Evan's been on the radio 20 years. Okay, Pam, I missed you 30 minutes ago. Have a good night, Pam. It was during the conference tourneys for college hoops. I remember watching a game from the early slate and everything got shut down. Yeah, I remember they shut down everything. And I was like, what? The flaw of the Yankees is not the outfield with Trent or pursuing Belly or Tucker. It's Anthony Volpe being the shortstop. That is the unspoken problem. No, it's been pretty loud. It's very spoken. It's not unspoken at all, dude. Like, but he's not available. So like, I'm not even worried about that because he's not going to be your opening day shortstop. And it's probably going to be Caballero, which isn't good enough, but keep your fingers crossed, Yankee fans. Fingers crossed that they cook up something via trade because I don't think that they're going out and buying the top free agents. Oh, yeah, dude. Like, I have, to even be deeper here, and I rap with my dad for like 40 minutes today. And, like I said to my dad today, I'm like, as a man, as a married man, and as a father, bro, I get it. I understand differently now. But if you listen to me on my show, I tell you, I did not grow up with my father in the house. My parents were divorced when I was like my son's age, 2.5, 3. So like, Imagine growing up and never seeing your pops or sparingly seeing your pops, right? And then when you become a dad, that feeling of like, oh, I gotta leave, and the door closes and my son starts crying. I'm like, I don't want him for a second to think that I'm leaving him. Or for my son to wake up and I want daddy, and you can't see your dad and he's in your house, but he's asleep, he's tired, he can't get up. Nah, bro. It's just so much deeper than rap. Like, my I got a rap. I shouldn't reveal it, but it's a bar. Um, Can't stop, won't stop. My pop was my first op. Like, my first opposition, the first challenger in my life that I had to prove wrong and overcome. That's why these nerds in the chat and people online, y'all don't do anything for me, bro. Like please bring all of that. KEITH. Kill everything if they hating. Like the first person that I had to overcome in my life and prove wrong was my dad. Like imagine being a young man and having the thought of like, yo, my parents aren't together. My dad is never around. My dad ain't checking on me. Like, my dad's got another wife and kids. And, like, am I not good enough? Of course I was good enough. But when you're young, you don't know things and you just, I thank God. I even said to my dad talking to him today, I'm like, I'm happy who I became. I'm happy how my life turned out. Everything happens for a reason. You weren't supposed to be around me, bro. You weren't supposed to be around me, bro. Like, because I would be different. Shout out to my brother Sean. Rest in peace to him. My brother Sean was a huge influence on me. And that's what God wanted. God wanted my brother that was 10 years older than me to influence me more than my own father. And now that I have a son, I am working on him. I'm making another Keith McPherson, but better looking. He's gonna be stronger and faster, and I'm focused on that. I'm focused on that. Saints and Jets in 2 weeks is going to be the ultimate tankathon game. The Jets are gonna lose. The Saints are playing better. You see the Saints against the Dolphins 2 weeks ago. The Saints against the Bucks. Tyler Shuck. You did not let us down. You did what you needed to do for your family. We're still here. Exactly, Ray. Like that's what I'm saying. I am not on the radio till 2 in the morning. At 2 in the morning now, I am asleep. And you know what that allows me to do? Be in that room at 7 a.m. when my son says, Daddy. Yes, I got you. What you need? It's baby set, but watch, bro. You're gonna grow this brand and you're gonna create a business that you'll be able to pass down to your son. I know. Because as my name grows and as I continue to go, more people subscribe, more people watch, more people follow. It's the way of the world. Not everybody has it, bro. I knew a long time ago that I had it. So if I have it, why not use it? Lucha Lechoso 9705. Hey everyone. Right. You're not building a business, man. You're building a legacy that you can pass down. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say I'm making a little me, like, okay, what happens if in 10 years my son is going on 13 and he says, Dad, I want to talk sports. Dad, I want to stream. It'd be sooner than that. These kids are all doing like all these kids want to be influencers, content creators, live streamers, YouTubers. So what if in 3 years my son says, Dad, I want to do content? He'll kill it. He'll kill it. Because he's better looking at me. He's a baby and people won't judge him the same. And then I won't have to do anything. I'll be his manager. I'll be behind the scenes setting up the camera and doing all this back end stuff. And I'll say, go get him, son. I'll go work for him. Let's see. WFAN was only part of your journey. More is coming. The best is yet to come. Yeah, but see, that's the thing too. And I always tell this story. You see that? It's probably better on this side. This keychain, bro. And I'm gonna have to clip this and post this. WFAN was so much a part of my destiny That keychain has been on my keys for 11 years. I've lived in probably 10 different places. WFAN was so much a part of my destiny that when I was in the fan cave, Mark Malusis came to the fan cave. I remember they had me call Boomer and Carton and leave a message that they were never going to play on the air, but they were trying to get me to like leave a message from the MLB fan. Hey, this is Keith from the MLB fan cave, encouraging you guys to vote for Derek Jeter in his final All-Star game. I think I was like supposed to leave the message for Al Dukes. It never made air. Mark Malusis came to the cave, and I had already liked Mark because he was a Yankee fan. But like when I saw Moose in person, it made it real for me. So WFAN, what they brought to the cave was these little keychains. And in the spring of 2014, I took that keychain, I put it on my keys. It's been on my keys every day. So every day I leave the house, every day I come into the house, every day I'm moving around. For 11 years, I'm seeing the WFAN logo. And they had some other people. I remember, I think it was Joe Causey, Brooklyn Zone from CBS Radio, and some other. But like for me to meet Moose, and Moose don't even remember this. For me to meet Moose in the fan cave, and it wasn't like I sized him up, but I just looked at him and like it changed. Cause like you listen to people on the radio and they're like bigger than life, right? Because they're broadcasting in New York to all these people. And it's like, yo, like they're huge. Like I remember Craig calling me for the first time and me being like, yo, it's crazy. I'm hearing your voice in the phone. And I just did a Brooklyn College appearance on air with this kid, Brett. And he was like, it's crazy hearing your voice in my ear and not on the radio. Seeing Mark Malus has made it real for me. And I'm gonna get on the radio one day. I don't know how. I'm gonna get on the radio one day. I'm gonna figure it out. I went to school for radio. I went to school for radio. So, you want to talk about the universe never unconnects? You want to talk about destiny? Like, what are the chances? What are the chances? Honestly, Keith, you're living the dream. I wish I could get my brand going. You can. I didn't have this always. It took a while till it made sense, right? When I just sent the text before, I was texting my boy Jackson Brody, who I do my merch with. If you notice, I've been chilling on the merch. The KM to AM shirts, right? I've been chilling on the merch, you know, McPherson brands. Like like, because we're gonna do a relaunch and do some different merch, and so my boy set me up with the website and the Shopify account because I didn't have the time to do it, but now I do have the time. So now I'm gonna cut the middleman out, and then we'll relaunch. You know, it's all just a part of evolution and figuring things out, and now I have the time to do that. So yeah, stay tuned. McPhersonbrand.com is still there, and the merch is still there. But I'm in the process of relaunching it in 2026. That's another thing. I'm not in a rush. People keep asking, "Where's the podcast? Where's the podcast?" I could make a podcast tonight. I have a RSS feed. I have a test episode. You guys just can't find it because I'm not doing that yet. That's on my goal was to change my schedule. My goal wasn't to leave WFAN and fire off this other stuff, but like, what would you have me do? I'm not on WFAN. They're not scheduling me for any shows. Like the part-time version of Keith McPherson working at WFAN isn't activated yet. So like, I'm not going to sit at home and chill and be quiet. I'm gonna watch the game and join the chat and connect with people this way. So back to what you were saying. I respect the hustle. Big on Marvel and DC comics. Yeah, I used to be. I don't have the time anymore. It blows my mind how people make up stories and lore about people and situations. Yeah, what I've learned is like, it's like athletes, right? You know, I heard Doc Rivers get on the mic the other day and say, Giannis has never requested to be traded, but people have been speculating for years about Giannis being traded. That means there's interest, bro. Like one of my best friends, probably my best friend, my boy Zeke. If you ever hear me talk about my boy Zeke, who played at West Virginia, he was just here this weekend, and he's like, I just want to hear the story from you directly, everything. And he's just proud. Like I played him my rap, and he's like, bro, long way from pools and washing machines. So when we were younger, we grew up in an apartment complex, and in the apartment complex, nobody has a pool, and then the pool that we had access to was trash. Once a while, like it wasn't trash. It was good in the beginning when they would open it, and then like once too many people in the community went, it was whack. But nobody had a pool and nobody had a washing machine. And we grew up in a town where you could ride your bike 5 minutes and people have pools in the backyard and washing machines in the house. So him and I had a mixtape idea, and the mixtape idea was pools and washing machines. And our address was 1413 Rustic Drive. So our rap group was going to be 1413. Uh, I'm one of those people, Keith. You're the best. Appreciate you. You know, I'm not done. Like, I just think um, like it's loud right now for the negative and for the haters or whatever. Let them get their stuff off. But like the people that do business in silence. You know, it's been 2 weeks, and I can't tell you. I'm telling you how many fans I've tried to connect with, how many listeners, how many supporters I've tried to get to. I can't tell you how many people have set up calls, lunches, meetings, Zooms, Google Meets, do 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 do, because that stuff is private information. Um, that stuff is what goes on all the time. And with the cadence of me announcing that I was stepping down, and then a week later, the Craig Carton leak, people think it's all like, I don't know. It ain't that deep though. I'm telling you, I didn't know any of that. And like even if I did know, like it wouldn't have affected me. I would have still been doing the nighttime show. He was asking how many kids Nick Cannon had at the time of your pick with him. Nick Cannon is a wild boy, but Nick Cannon been getting money since he was like 16. Nick Cannon is a wild boy. He like, and you want to talk about somebody like, I'm talking about how, I've quit jobs, and I've left things that people are just telling me, oh, you can't leave JMU, you can't give up your scholarship at Monmouth. Sure I can. Sure I can. Um, Nick Cannon, they told Nick Cannon, you can't have this many wives, you can't have this many kids. Sure I can. Sure I can. Um, I can't find the picture now. But Nick Cannon was cool when I rapped with Nick, and I don't even look like this anymore. My hair is not like this anymore. But when I rapped with Nick, we were at like there was some type of a thing going on at Viacom, and I remember I used to be so nervous around like celebrities and people. I don't give a f now. I do not care. I can't tell you how many like famous people I met. I don't care. But like even to approach him, because he was technically my boss, but even to approach him to be able to like take the pick, I was like nervous. Like, and I think I said something to him like, "Yo, people say we look alike. We don't look alike. Remember, he used to wear them turbans heavy." I was like, "Yo, take a flick with me, bro. Take a flick with me, bro. We don't look alike. We do not look alike." But nah, he was cool, and he lives in his own world and has his own beliefs and parameters and things. And bro, to each his own. One thing I got to say about WFAN, and I say this with love, they have got to have the most bald. They just got rid of two. They just got rid of two hosts, two bald hosts, and that's why I was always flexing, bro. People, people were in the chat a couple weeks ago, like he's always talking about his hair. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not losing my hair, because I got it, because I'm not bald. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a blessing. Oh, here was the other time you saw me on Yes Network Build. We did this was in my old apartment, where we did Talking Nets during the pandemic, right? That's May 2021. Bro, they sent a camera crew out. They rode with me from my old apartment My old car. I'm rocking a Kyrie jersey. That was a 2019 Jetta. Going over the George Washington Bridge. Um, Even though that was a Brooklyn Bridge. Shout out to the Yes Network. I will always say that about the Yes Network. They showed me big love. They showed me love for no reason besides just being real. So like real recognize real, yo. And it's a cold game out here in business, but like if you don't think people have recognized me, my talent, my story at this point, and I'm just gonna disappear, like I'm not. I'm not. Keith, what's the name of your podcast so I can follow? The podcast is called I Don't Have a Podcast. I'm about to put that down in my notes. I'll put that down in my notes. I'm sure somebody came up with that already. When I do launch the podcast idea name, I don't have a podcast. Um, how do you pronounce this name? Isaias? Azias Garcia? Um, what I was saying before is I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to make a podcast. Like it's the end of the year. It's the most wonderful time. It's the holiday season. I'm just trying to chill, bro. I needed a break, bro. I'm just trying to chill. And like WFN wasn't about to give me like, the whole month off. I wasn't even gonna ask. That was it. That was Finn. That was it. That was finito. That was done. Man, this game sucks. 13-9. About to go in the fourth quarter, 13-9. But now I'm thinking about it. Let me look at my fantasy because wow, I'm about to lose by 11 unless somehow Jake Elliott can kick 11 points worth of field goals. Um, yeah, my whole thing is like I wasn't trying to come out and be like, okay. So I ran my race and I didn't announce like, hey, I'm leaving WFAN and I'm going to Sirius XM radio. No, like I'm going home. And also like what I've learned because I had other jobs where you could interview for other jobs, you could send a cover letter, resume, and you could have your job, go land another job, and then give your 2 weeks notice from your job. I'm not in a regular job anymore. I'm in a public facing job. You can't do that. I can't go to iHeartMedia and interview without someone being like, "Yo, I saw Keith McPherson here. What was he doing here?" You can't just like I don't know. People do it, but there's so many leaks and so many things, and once you become a public facing person, like you can't do it. And even um like if I don't know, I wasn't looking to. I'm not looking to get another job. I'm still a good radio host. I'm still looking to host radio shows. I'm looking for a day job, not a night job. You feel me? I want to work during the day. The rest of my career, I worked 11 years in New York. The rest of my career was working during the day. You don't think I'm good enough to work during the day? Doing radio? Doing media, entertainment? I think I could figure it out. What's happening at shortstop is what happened at third base last year, and they are going to wait and try and sell some will be returning after the surgery. Oh man, I'm just not excited about it. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. Say this. Caballero's probably going to start. Volpe's going to come back, and they'll probably play him. I don't want Caballero to be the everyday shortstop. They don't want Caballero to be the everyday shortstop, but the Yankees don't make any sense. Like you went and got Caballero, and then you sat Volpe down at the end of the season. You played Caballero, and he had some success. And It actually helped Volpe have some success. But then when you get into the postseason, after Volpe goes quiet against Toronto for 2 games, your season's on the line. Well, how do you not go back to Caballero? That's why I said I don't know. They don't, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I feel you had a turbulent relationship with my pops, and towards the end, we started talking a bit more, and then he passed. That was 10 years ago now. But cherish whatever time you get with your pops. I'm sorry for your loss. Um, you only have one mom and one dad, and you know what? They're not perfect. And even some of you that feel like you have perfect parents, congrats to you. They're not perfect. But, even my little bit of experience here being a dad, it's hard. And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to get things wrong. And like, that's why I said, because I wasn't sleeping correctly, because I was chasing this dream, because I was doing what I was doing, I could feel it. I'm like, I shouldn't be getting mad at my son. I shouldn't be getting mad at my wife, but I'm low on sleep. And, you say you lost your pops, but, at least you were able to connect with him. And like I said, I talked to my dad today, and, my dad finds out that I'm not doing the radio anymore through somebody that he works with. Hey, Keith's not on the radio anymore. And, my dad's not on social media, and it isn't like I called him to tell him. Um, and we're a little bit distant now, but we're more distant now because 1413. That's a sign. Remember, I said the group was going to be 1413. Let me see. If I don't know if you guys can see the total. 1413. 1413. I grew up 1413 Rustic Drive. I'm kicking the origin stories, but yeah, I'm a little distant from my dad now, but that's because I am a dad. I'm not searching for that father-son relationship. I am the father and the son relationship, and I'm doing everything I can to be a good dad and be there for my son because I did not have that. But I don't hold it against my pops anymore because I am a married man and I do have a son and I understand. Like, you had to make decisions. You couldn't be there for everybody. You couldn't do what it is, what it is. But I had about a 10-year window between age 23 and 33 that I connected with my dad. And I told him, I was like, yo, at least we got that, bro. At least you can, you can look back to those times and memories. And we got to know each other. But, um, when you lose your parents, it's going to be hard. So, um, you want to have some type of closure. You want to kind of mend fences, I would say. Like, you don't want to be on bad terms. And like, so I said, I'm not with my dad consistently. My dad is a distant, part of my life. But like, he calls and I pick up. I told him I always answer the phone, bro. But like, I'm not going out of my way to have you involved in my life because you weren't involved in my life like that young. And now that I have a son, that's my focus. I'm not looking for the father son relationship. My boy Zeke that I was telling you about, 1413, his dad wasn't around either. So we both kind of had that growing up. Like, he had a father figure in his life. But, I was just talking to him over the weekend. And I'm like, bro, I don't know if you felt like this, but, my boy Zeke's got 3 kids. And I'm like once you became a dad, and you could see your eyes in your son's eyes once you became a dad again and again. Like, you got 3 boys, so you wake up every day being their dad. You're not searching for your dad anymore. And he's like, yeah, I feel you. Like, that's my responsibility, that's my role. It shifts once you have kids. Like, and I mean, good for you guys that have like good dads that have been in your life, and then you have a son, and then it's like a trio of y'all. But not all of us got that. Keychain with some the keychains is your son's senior. This keychain is much older than my son. His keychain is 11 years old, bro. 11 years old. And I ain't take it off either. I'm not taking it off. I'm part of history. You know what I'm saying? That's forever. Um, I remember the great Spike Eskin who brought me in. The great Spike Eskin who brought me in. He said there'll be more starters for the Knicks. than full-time radio host at WFAN. Like, you know how rare it is? Like, yeah, like there'll be more starting pitchers for the Yankees, than in a year than full-time hosts at WFAN, specifically like full-time hosts that host their own shows. Like for 4 years, I got to host my own show. I'm good, bro. I'm straight. Okay, I got a question. Is there a time you can talk about where you felt like an interview went bad or took a turn and didn't expect? Oh, you want me to talk about John Heyman? We just passed that. Um, I mean, there were definitely some interviews where I'm just like, the thing about doing interviews on air, if your connection is bad, there's no reason to keep it going. Um, Also, if they're not giving you long-winded answers, no reason to keep it going. Some people hold the John Heyman interview against me, but I didn't write those jokes. That wasn't original material. That's stuff that everybody has said about John, but maybe nobody has ever said it to John in that public of a fashion. And I apologize to John on air. I apologize to John off air. And that blew up into something that went viral, and going viral is never bad. It made a lot of people aware of me. And, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it any differently. But like I do understand that, like, okay, there's Saquon. Okay, now the game is flipped. There's a Saquon Barkley touchdown. And I said Saquon, if you go back to the early part of the stream, I took Saquon to have a game high. I'm like, where's the big rushing game from Saquon? Can they show us how many yards he's got? Um, like when I talk about how old these guys are in the industry and how I'm young in the industry, John Heyman is like 60. And if you go back and listen to that interview, like all right, as soon as I introduced him, I gave him props. I'm like, bro, everybody that follows baseball knows who you are. You've been in the game for like 30 years. Like, you're the man, bro. Like the way you tweet and cover the game, everybody's hanging on your tweets. I didn't realize that day it had been the like year anniversary of the Arson Judge tweet, and I tried to laugh it off with him. I'm like, bro, people put that on shirts. I'm like, I think that like you gotta laugh at like your position in baseball. You didn't play, right? You didn't call games. You're a writer, and he's like, oh well, if somebody was a nice person, I would hope that they could drop it. And I'm like, what are we talking? I'm like, bro, um, and then the jokes were all about for years how he's in the Boris camp. And so the joke that I was playing with him on the air was about, and he did, like, at first he was with it and then he turned fast, but I was like, yo, you got to be getting a cut for all this Juan Soto coverage. I'm like, if not, I'm like, bro, if Juan Soto gets a $750 million contract, you'll see if you can get 10%. That's a lot. And then you know what I think? And people told me it was like, they were like, Joe Sherman probably texted him, or what's the other guy from the Post? Another guy was a loser, old loser that like was tweeting at me about it. I forget his name because these guys don't matter. They're old pen pushers, and they're like, they look down on us like young content creators. Like, I remember in that interview, John Heyman said something like, "You're not a journalist. You don't know how any of this works." And because I was being respectful, I didn't hit him back with like, "No, I'm not a journalist. I never tried to be a journalist." Like you think you're cool because you write articles. Like, that was never cool to me, bro. We're talking sports here. I'm a radio host. But yeah, whatever. I honestly wish I wasn't connected to John Heyman. Like, he's not P. He's not player at all. He's not cool. Like, when I did see him in person and I tried to squash it up, he ducked me. And I'm like, bro, this guy's got no respect for me. This guy looks at me as somebody that doesn't belong. He looks at me as someone that, like, I went to school. I got my degree just like you did. But instead of going to communication journalism, I went communication, radio, and TV. You're not any better than me. Like, take a chill. Do things at your own pace, bro. Drop the merch, the podcast, whatever. I am. Lord willing, I'm just trying to live. If I don't die, there's plenty more to do. Hey, right on time, bro. What's wrong with the Eagles offense tonight? Saquon does it. Get out of here, bro. Your boy went to West Virginia. I'm a fan of West Virginia because my pops went there, and it was one of the few things we bonded over. Yeah. 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 The Mountaineers, Morgantown. I went out there to visit him. I was telling y'all the JMU stories. That place is real, too. I remember, Ludacris performed at their Fall Fest. It was insane. Exactly, bro. Like, I'm doing these lives 2-3 times a week, but I've been quiet about the stuff I need to be quiet about. There were some nights where I wanted to call in the station, but it was too late and I was tired. There you go. I used to tell people there's nobody I would stay up late to listen to. Go to bed. You know? You know you're Nostradamus. I'll say this. I did not know everything that was going to transpire. Like, if I was on WFAN tonight, I'd be driving in now because they closed the tunnel at 11. I've said this in a bunch of streams. If I was on the air tonight, I'd be driving in now to get ready for my show. But all of the stuff with Craig, I had no idea about. And some of the other people that are done, I knew some of the people that were, but like that didn't affect my decision. I can't stress to y'all enough. I have my own date and time. I have my own timeline. I have my own 4 years from when I started. Can I make it to that 4-year mark? And I did. Tyler Shuck is worth keeping for the Saints. He's actually got some juice. I'm curious what they do with their pick. I don't think they should take a quarterback. They obviously have other needs. We talking Yanks? I mean, did anything break from the winter meetings? I'm waiting for one of you guys in the chat to be like, "Yo, Keith, check Twitter. We're watching this Eagles game now. The Eagles are up, and now we got a battle in the fourth. But no, I don't see anything until Jeff Passan. Let me check Jeff Passan's Twitter. Until Passan, shout out to Passan, real one. Speaking of John Heyman, night John Heyman was on Jeff Passan text me. Like Jeff Passan's text cracked me up. I wish I could go back to that night because I got texts from like Jared Carabas, the Kid Miro, Jeff Passan, a couple other people. Passan's text had me dying laughing. He sent some emojis. He just said one sentence. Oh, yo, you understand, bro. Did you meet any comedians while working with Nick Cannon? Yeah, bro. I used to be around Carlos Miller, Chico Bean, and DC Young Fly. And those guys, everything they do is hilarious. They are nonstop comedians. Just like when they chill, the way that they make fun of each other, the way they tell stories, like they are just naturally funny. Like I've got so much respect for people that can do stand up. I've got so much respect for people that can make people laugh and like just have a way about them. Those three dudes have a way about them. What other comedians? D. Ray Davis used to be around. I don't know. It was always like Justina Valentine, Conceited. Damn, what's my dude that's from St. Louis? The Blood from St. Louis. I don't know. It's been years since I hung out with that crew. Yeah, talking nuts. Was on the Yes Network. Herbert just going to keep running with a broken hand. Yeah, bro. I mean, DJ Daniel Jones was out there playing with a whole broken leg. Daniel Jones, it's tough. He had the Achilles on the other leg. Yeah, I know. But like you got to understand, and I hope that I'm an example for like all the young kids that watch me and root for me. Like they see how I interact with like negative people and haters. They see all the negativity and they see me still popping up. Hey, I'm live. Hey, here's some content. Like, hey, no, I didn't get fired. Like, if I got fired, I'm telling you, bro. Like, if I actually got fired, I would come out and have told you I was fired. I was let go. And I would have probably been on like a war path. I probably would have been pissed off about it. I wasn't fired. I'm still not fired. I'm just not doing the nighttime show, so you're not hearing me on air. You got to have a snarky podcast name since people like making up stories. Yeah. I should say the fake podcast. Everything is fake. The lies. The Nostradamus podcast. Yeah, when you lose by 0.03, it's hard to get over. Oh, you know what I did this week that I still haven't gotten over? I fell for the Shador Sanders hype. I'm like, oh, Shador at home against the worst team in the NFL. I'm taking the Browns in Survivor. I got cute in Survivor because as you get through the weeks, like you don't have the top teams anymore. But you know what? I had the Rams, I had the Seahawks, and I know from years of doing Survivor, which I've only won 1 year of Survivor ever. The whole point of Survivor is to survive. You take locks every week. You don't gamble until the very end when you have to gamble, which is week 14. We were close to the end. So anybody that's still in Survivor, you take the lock, the lock, the lock. You don't take teams that are not winning teams. You take the team with winning record that is like a lock to win. Not a rookie quarterback at home in the elements where Kevin Stefanski's going to take him off the field for the 2-point conversion and they're going to lose. He said, I like your chances. No way. No way. Because even with that extra point, I think I'm still down by too much. Yeah, Jake Elliott has. Did I put Elliott in or? Oh no, I played Dicker. That's only 4-point difference. I played Dicker and not Elliott. Elliott's got 12. Dicker's got 8, and I'm down by 11. It won't matter, and it's okay because I'm in first place in this league, and we're about to go into playoffs anyway. So I'm 9-4. I'm in first place in the league. If I get dropped down. I'm playing against Ross in Bergen County. If I get dropped down to 9-5 and that puts me in the middle of the pack, so be it. I'll get my revenge in the playoffs. In addition to that interview question, has there ever been someone you were looking forward to interviewing and ending up having a different view of them after the interview? I don't know. I don't think so, man. I try to keep interviews on WFAN like to 10, 15 minutes. A lot of times I'll interview journalists and they're great interviewers. They're better interviewers than me. Like, you got to ask them a succinct question. You gotta ask. You can't ask them multiple questions, right? Because they'll double back on you. Like, so what's the question? You asked that was like a 3-part question. I always have long-winded questions. I got better at my interviewing skills through interviewing journalists who literally go and ask like the coaches and players questions and then write about them. I don't know. And it's hard to remember. Actually, I need to put a note together right now because that's something for my portfolio. My real list of all the prominent people you have interviewed. One of my favorite all-time interviews was Warren Moon, just because I got to tell him that I admired him and I took his book out of the Ocean Township Elementary School library and read about him, and like to be able to tell him that on the radio was sick. Let's see. I called and said once they should sign Ketel Marte, he's an outright stud. I'd give them anything they want outside of Killer Cam to play shortstop. The main part of my call was about signing Japanese talent, but I believe the Yankees won't get Murakami. Yeah, they're off that. Maybe Imai, but I told Yankee fans at the end of the season, if you keep your expectations low, you won't be disappointed. And y'all are already disappointed because you're expecting Kyle Tucker, you're expecting Cody Bellinger, you're expecting like Alex Bregman, you're expecting Luis Arias, you're expecting Tati. Like, I ain't expect them to do it. I'm not expecting anything. So I'll probably be happy when they make their little trade for whoever they make because I'll be like, all right, cool. I wasn't expecting that. How nervous were you when you did your first ever show on radio? Extremely. And when I go back and look at the video, it's cringe. But the mistake I made, and shout out to the architect, Chris Olivero, he told me to walk down the street, and once you get 2 blocks up the street from WFAN, there's a direct shot of the Empire State Building. And he's like, yeah, before you go on air tonight, just take a walk, take a deep breath, go, walk up the block, look at the Empire State Building, and think about like, how many people you're reaching across New York. Like how many people are going to hear your first show tonight across New York. And I went and did that. And I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking just like the handful of people in the building at WFAN were going to hear it. And then I felt my heartbeat racing. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I remember once, like, I don't know. I remember hearing that dun, the on air light. I don't even know. I sucked. I thought I was terrible. But it's a wild experience, bro. It's a wild experience from going to school for radio to walking around the city poor with a WFAN keychain. I mean, even when I had the audition, I did not think that, like, there's a video of me walking out. I thought it was gonna be the last time I'd be in the building, bro. That's the funny part. Like, there is a video of me that I put on Twitter where I just was thanking him for the opportunity. I'm like, yo, that was the opportunity of a lifetime. What a dream. That was a blast. Like I thought it was gonna be one and done. I was like, I didn't even know how to get out of the building. That's the funny part of the building, the video too. I'm walking and I walk past the exit. I'm like, I was clueless. I didn't have an ID card yet. And my show was done at 2. And that's another thing. I remember drinking a whole Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I don't even drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee. But I needed to stay up. And I drank this whole big ass Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And I went in to do my show. And I just made it by myself because I felt like unqualified. So I tried to qualify myself and tell everybody everything about me that got me to that point. And yeah, I was like, whatever. That sucked. No shot I ever make it back. And what I also tell people is like, they didn't tell me what I was auditioning for. I thought I was auditioning to be Daniel McCartan. I thought I was auditioning to be Al Cintrone. Al Cintrone wasn't there at the time. And shout out to Al. Hopefully he gets his opportunity coming up. Because he's another story of someone that just like, broke into there. He broke in off of like nothing. Like he broke in off of like Spike Esking, hearing his takes on Twitter, I believe. I don't think he had a podcast. I don't think he was affiliated with anybody like I was. Like, that's even more of a shot in the dark. Al Cintrone, a Puerto Rican dude, getting his opportunity, and I supported him from the jump. I remember listening to his first show, and I'm like, we got a Boricua in here now too? Like, wow, we're in a whole future. But yeah, fast forward 4 years, different world now. Whatever you end up doing, Keith, I always have. Yeah, bro. Of course, I do know that. Shout out to Chris. And, Chris has told me I've inspired him to make content and do things. And I'm like, good. Do what you want to do, bro. Hoboken, no joking. The OG in the building. What's good? About 7.5 minutes left in this game as we watch along. And I take questions and topics from the chat. I'm working on a bunch of things for this. Like, when we do get to Yankee games, I will be streaming Yankee games. Like, real G's move in silence, but I can let that out of the bag. I'm not much of a Yankee game streamer because I go to the game. So for the last 4 years, I've been going to the game and then running out of the game to go host on the station, or I would be home watching the game, taking notes to then go host on the station. This year will be the year where I'll be right here watching the game, and I'll be I'm having some conversations with some different people about ways to blow that out and make that something. And then also, by the time we get there, I want to have a call line, but sooner. Like, it's a lot of people like, oh, I miss calling the show. I do want there to be a line where you're able to call, and I'm able with the headset on to just, all right, Chris, I don't know where you're from. Chris in North Jersey, you're on the live. And Chris could be like, yo, what's up, man? Blah, 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 blah. Yo, why'd they take out Garrett Cole in the 5th inning? Yeah, so we're gearing up for 2026. We're gearing up for baseball season with a few different things. I'm having a lot of different conversations. I'm blessed. I'm blessed that there's interest. I'm blessed that people are coming to me. Love that interview with Warren Moon. That's the time. that dude called in and he tried to bait you and you handled it like a pro. Yes, yes. That is an unfortunate thing. There's a lot of racism that comes along with anything, internet, TV, radio. But I would say that in this 4 years, the amount of racists I've come across on the internet and even some of that on the phone is crazy. Sad, honestly. It's 2025. Even like from 2021 to 2025, it is sad. Um, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but you know, the guy had called and he was like, why do I get in the car and get on the radio and hear you talking to Warren Moon about black quarterbacks in the NFL? It's not about black or white. I'm like, whoa, whoa. He said something stupid. I'm like, were you listening? I'm like, do you know anything about Warren Moon? I think I had Warren Moon on before the NFC Championship and AFC Championship. So it was Jalen Hurts versus Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson versus I don't know if it was Lamar Jackson. It was because last year was the Bills versus the Chiefs, right? So I think it was a 2.5 of the 4 quarterbacks are black, and you help pave the way. Ow, like Toon, bro, what's the deal? I was basically trying to give Warren Moon his flowers for saying like, look at where we're at. Like, one of these quarterbacks in the NFC is going to be in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is another black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. There's not that many. Once upon a time, if you go watch Evolution of the Black Quarterback on Amazon, if you don't already know, like NFL teams didn't even want to draft black quarterbacks because they didn't want that look for their franchise. They didn't believe that like fans would support a black quarterback as the front man. Stupid, but we were able to get past that. Keith, I'm pumped on JMU for you. Also calling the radio is one of my faves. I can only imagine being the host. Yeah, I'm pumped for JMU. One of my old professors wrote on my Facebook and he was like, thanks for still representing us all the way up there in New York. And I'm like, of course, it's part of my story. I chose to go there. I have 15 scholarships coming out of high school. I could have went to New Hampshire. They're not on the scene like this. I could have went to Delaware. They're not on the scene like this. I could have went to Temple. They're not on the scene like this. Like for JMU to be in the college football playoff, I'm super proud. And yeah, as far as like being the host, I've always told y'all when I got on there, like it ain't about me, but it is. Like it's my show, so I'm gonna tell you my life and my stories or whatever. But as far as the call goes, like I'm giving you time, and like your opinion and my opinion, we're talking it out. Like my opinion isn't better than yours, unless you say something completely incorrect or ridiculous or out of pocket. Oh, tie game! I didn't even realize they kicked that field goal. Tie game now, 16-16, and my fantasy team is down. Sucks that I don't have anybody playing. You know who screwed me over? Kenneth Walker had 3.8 points. Kenneth Walker had 3.8 points. And you know who also screwed me over? I didn't play Amon-Ra St. Brown because I thought he wasn't going to play. And he ended up having 15 points that I could have used on the bench. So that's how it goes. Bad week for me in the NFL. Fantasy team going to lose, and I'm out on Survivor. If I were you, I would have looked at one of those old cartoons where the heart is beating out of their chest. Yeah, it's just like, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. So many people think they could host a radio show. They're mistaken. It's a lot that goes into it, and it takes a while to get a rhythm. It takes a while to get confidence. It takes a while to just learn. Like when you're on there, you have to have some type of awareness of the time, the topic, how many calls you take, how to get out for a break, how to tease the next break, how to like structure your show. And like, not for nothing, bro. Nobody taught me how to do that. I'll give Spike Eskin some credit for little things that like he would listen to my show and we would meet and we would talk about. And even Ryan Hurley, I'll give him some credit for some critiques or whatever. But like I developed my own show, my own style, And I figured out how to do that on my own. And there are a lot of guys at WFAN who crafted and figured out their own style from being at WFAN and listening all those years. I wasn't in there all those years. I wasn't listening to WFAN every day. I didn't grow up with WFAN being played in the car. 3 hours late, I failed you. No, you didn't, bro. And you're on Twitch. The Twitch is light. But that's okay because we got somebody working on that too. I have some calls for that as well, how to crack the Twitch code and really get that going. My biggest audience is Twitter. So shout out to everybody watching on Twitter. Whether you're a hater or a supporter, it's 11:02 at night. Appreciate you tapping in. Keith McPherson, who left WFAN's nighttime role to spend more time with his family, take care of his mental health, and enjoy the holiday season. That is me. I may be back in some capacity. I may not. But like in the interim, I'm streaming and I'm putting out content the way I've always tweeted, the way I've always posted on Instagram. And what you don't see is I'm taking calls and meetings and lunches and making it shake until we get to the week of the 22nd. And then I'm off the grid. Then we're going to have the holly jolly Christmas and all that. And then a happy new year. And then we hit 2026. And I'm sure prayers will be answered and opportunities will emerge and we go onward. But, you know, I'm not hiding. I'm not ducking because I'm not lying about anything. And there's no reason to hide. I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed, bro. I could be doing a lot of other different things. It's crazy the different ways people can be found these days. From Twitter takes to WFAN. Talk about a shot in the dark that took him to the light. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Al got his opportunity through Spike seeing his Twitter rants or his like demo on Twitter. I don't think he had like a demo or reel. And I think also Evan co-signed him. And I don't know. I'm happy for people that get a win like that. You know, Al Cintron, I think, works. I don't know where he works, and I don't want to get too deep into it and be incorrect. But he works a job elsewhere, and he gets opportunities to come on WFAN in the middle of the night and host. I've listened to a show where he talks about having to drink coffee and having to stay up. And, you know, he's a real, like, New Yorker, New York fan outside of the Commanders. I think he's a little bit older, so I think he saw some of those earlier Commanders teams that were good. Not Cincinnati, Redskins, Washington Redskins teams. Tie game. This game probably go to overtime. That guy Tony, I remember that call too. What's his name, Tony? We'll be here watching games with you, brother. Yeah, and like it ain't even gonna always be games. And then we're gonna take this live stream on the road. We got plans for that. But like, man, this is the way, right? Like, they started live streaming my WFAN show on YouTube, but that was a product of me live streaming my own WFAN show on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And then what I found was, you know, maybe it was me. Maybe I didn't have that much motion. I was getting way more views on my own streaming my show than I was streaming on just YouTube. And I think the whole point of a stream, if you're going to stream, is to reach as many people as possible across platforms. All right. Like, I'm consistently, these streams I've been doing, you know, like I was talking to this guy, Sean, who runs Live on Assist, and he was looking at my streams on Twitter. And these streams were having like 2,000-3,000 people per night. And I think when I was doing my YouTube show on WFAN, and it would be me and C-Mac through the entire night, we weren't hitting 3,000 people. We were hitting like barely 2,000, 2.2, 2.5, 2.6. And I think that's a product of WFAN's followership, subscribers on YouTube, and it just being late. Like, if I was going on tonight, I would not be on yet. You feel me? Like, if I was starting my WFAN show tonight, it would not be on it. This game might go to overtime. So if the game goes to overtime, that pushes the start of my show back. I was speaking to a WFAN employee this morning about, like, yo, that might be my time slot that I had for 4 years, might be the hardest time slot for somebody with a kid and a wife. because sometimes the show starts at 7, sometimes the show starts at 10:30, sometimes the show starts at 11, sometimes the show could start at 12, sometimes the show could start at 12:45. It's a moving target, and it's a moving target, and when your shifts are moving targets, it makes your life a little unsettled. It makes your travel a little unsettled. It makes your prep a little unsettled. Like, there were times where I would put together show notes over the weekend for a Monday Night Football post show. Like, they do Westwood One coverage and then do 30 minutes of whatever they're talking about wrapping up. And I would go on, I'd be like, we don't have time to even talk about all this. I'm like, I got a bunch of stuff in my notes from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day Monday. I'm like, we don't even have time to get to all this. Like you were saying the other day, you can set the calls, voicemail, and text messages through Google to have call-ins on the show. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. Like, honestly, I don't think I'm done in the radio world at all. Humbly, honestly, like, let's say I never do another WFAN show, which I also don't think that is tune. You gotta chill, bro. You want to be on camera? Like, Tune coming in here biting the f out of me, and I don't know what it is. You want me to change the lights or something? You want me to change the vibe? You want me to bring the vibe down a little bit? Damn, really came in here and bit me twice, and people can't see that. You don't like the color in here? We share this room, so I always got to be mindful of Tune. I think I want a red vibe anyway. Yeah, let's switch and make a little bit of a red vibe as we close things out. It might go to overtime. Might go to overtime tunes. All right, we're gonna hit the red vibe. Yeah, now we got the red vibe. Let me know if you like that or not, Toonie. Let the people see you, y'all, since you all over here. Um, what I'll say is, like, I'm not looking to become I'm not trying to be Kai Cenat. I'll do some streams. I'm not looking to take Cam to AM and make it a digital only YouTube show, live stream on Twitter or whatever, because I do understand that medium. I do, like, love radio. Like I said, I went to school for radio. I'm old. Like, these things didn't exist when I was in college. Like, I remember using Ustream. Well, Tune just ran from under there, and then that tripped the wire that just pulled the camera down. Ah, Tune, you're messing up my operation here, bro. It's okay. Can one of these teams get a field goal? Can the Eagles get a field goal here and wrap this up? And I'm gonna wrap the chat up. Oh, and I gotta take some melatonin, some magnesium. You take the magnesium. One's on the clock. One's on the clock. Lem lem. You take the magnesium, like muscle relaxer, and you take a little bit of melatonin. And like I just bite the melatonin. I think I even have like 5 milligram melatonin. Take them Johns to come down, to relax, to chill. You feel me? To chill out, bro. To be able to sleep, bro. Um, but yeah, back to the conversation we were having. Oh, um, yeah. So, um, I don't know. Like when people are like, "You were fired." What did I do to get fired? What grounds would I have been let go on? Oh, your show sucks. You were terrible. Not 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 on the grounds to get fired. And I wasn't terrible. My show didn't suck. A lot of people enjoyed my show. So like obviously those are anonymous idiots. Oh, is that a touchdown? No, he dropped the ball. Um, like to get fired, like you got to do something really bad to get fired. Like Don Imus got pulled off air because he offended people. Like what did he say? The nappy headed hose. He called the Rutgers basketball team nappy headed hose once upon a time. Like that's how you get fired. I didn't do anything to get fired. And also with Craig coming back, I would have stayed in the nighttime spot. And also for the thousandth time, after the baseball season, went on vacation and let my employer know, hey, I can't go on any longer. I can come back from vacation and do my 2 weeks and I'm out. And they said, okay. And nobody said anything about, hey, Craig is coming back. Nobody said it like that. I don't get privy to those messages. And then also, like I try to tell you, I have an agent that handles that, bro. like, like you guys trip me out. I'll tell you the truth, and you still don't want the truth. You rather come up with this conspiracy theory. So go ahead. The truth ain't good as the lie. Drop the Brendan Donovan bomb. Let me refresh the tweets. Let me refresh Twitter. I don't see that. You know what I do see though, and this is something that I have post notifications on to show you. Like it just gave me a flashback, bro. It just gave me a freaking flashback and it makes me feel like relief, bro. It makes me like, and you guys weren't living this life, so you don't understand. You don't understand little things like this that I'm about to show you, right? I live in Hoboken. So I entered through the Holland Tunnel. I have post notifications on. The Holland Tunnel to New York has one lane closed for road work. Updates are posted when situation changes. Now let me give y'all some more backdrop. Let me give y'all some more story. When I started working at WFAN, the Holland Tunnel was open at night, and I lived in Jersey City, further out by like almost like Bergen Lafayette. So when I did the late night shows, I could dip out if I got out in time. I could dip out and get through the tunnel, be home in 20 minutes. But they started working on the freaking Holland Tunnel for like sandy repairs in like 2022. And so everybody in the city after 12 o'clock would have to go through the Lincoln Tunnel. It would make my drive home 30 to 45 minutes because I would have to drive from WFAN downtown all the way uptown through the Lincoln Tunnel, then down through Weehawken, Hoboken, Jersey City. It was such a roundabout way to get home. Two stories. One night, I almost got into an accident in the tunnel because I was so tired. I literally nodded off in traffic and like fell asleep behind the wheel, but hit the brake because it was taking so long to get home. It was like 3 a.m. You get gridlocked. There was a summer ride home 2 summers ago where it took me 2 hours to get home. I did not pull into my garage until 4 a.m. I almost quit then. I tell the story. My girl knows the story. My mom, like, I almost quit the next day. I'm like, I don't want to work a night job where I have to fight through New York City traffic, which is dangerous. And then also, like, I worked a job for 2, 3 hours. Then I got to spend 2 hours to fight to get home. I live 3 miles away. I used to live in Hamilton Park. I'm like, yo, it shouldn't take no 2 hours to get home. This is insane. So like, y'all don't understand that alert. I used to drive in if I was on the air tonight. I used to have to beat that alert. And what that means is this game right now. Let's see where this game is at right now. This game right now has a 2-minute warning. I would already be there, but like I would have to watch the game, have my notes and everything ready, and leave here. I remember it was like 10:50 was cutting it because this just got put up 2 minutes ago. Let me check the timestamp. This went up at 11:11. I'm about to like that tweet just because I'm always 11:11 ones on the clock guy. I used to have in my head like I would eat my what I would call second dinner. I would try and eat dinner with my wife and my son at like 6:37, and then the leftovers or whatever I would eat again at like 10:30 because you don't want to be eating at 2:30 in the morning and getting in bed, and then you'll be a fat ass because then you're going to sleep and your food's not digesting, and I'm trying to have abs. So I would eat my second dinner. I'd pack my bag, and you got to be out by 10:45, 10:50 because if you don't get through the Holland Tunnel, it's one lane, so it gets bumper to bumper going in. Ask Mike Fliegelman. Fleegs used to come in and be caught in that. And his shift didn't start till 12. So man, there's little things that go on behind the scenes that people don't know, and they just think that I don't know. They think we're not humans. They think that we're just I don't know what people think. I'm a human being. I'm a regular dude, bro. I got responsibilities. I got family. I do the same stuff that you guys do. I just got the opportunity for 4 years to talk on the radio at night, and from the looks of it, I think I moved some people. From the looks of it, some people were rocking with that. From the looks of it, and not even saying the 1,600 in the chat, not flexing it. I'm just saying like from the last 2 weeks, the amount of conversation, good, bad, and indifferent about it. People have an opinion on it. Um, let's see. Like you were saying the other day, right? You said the call. I understand there's a lot of racism out there, but it's disgusting how open and comfortable people are being openly racist and ignorant. People talk a big game behind a phone and a keyboard. That's what I'm saying. I never get any of that in person. But it's the same thing with the hater stuff. That's why I had the banner in here that I was always putting up. Let me change my banner. So like the internet enables these people. And there's definitely a lot of them within the WFAN like fan base. I don't know what it is, bro. There's definitely a lot of them in the WFAN Reddit and Twitter space. They're just wild racist, bro. Like I had never heard of the term DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I couldn't be any further from DEI because like I tried to tell y'all my story of what it took to get here. Never met a hater. In person, it's can I take a selfie? In person, it's yo, KM. In person, it's yo, are you? I never met a hater, bro. Never met a hater, bro. Probably never will meet one because, like, in real life, you can't pull up on somebody and be like, your show sucks. You can't pull up on somebody and talk like that. It just doesn't go down like that. You feel me? All right, let me get back to the chat and get us let's get us back current. Yeah, there are mad races on Reddit, bro. I don't go on the WFAN Reddit anymore. I did when it was brought to my attention on my last show. People were like, "Oh, did he sign off? Did he get fired?" I went on there to clear some stuff up, but whatever, bro. It doesn't matter. Like if you're on Reddit, you're at the bottom of the internet cesspool. Yeah, bro. I didn't know what DEI was until recently. It's been all over. Supposedly it's something that came with the Trump administration, but I don't want to get into all that because that's not, like I said, that's not what type of time I'm on. I don't even know about that stuff. I wish there was DEI when I was in college. I wish there was DEI when I was unemployed. I wish there were, like, what you're saying doesn't make sense because it's like it's always been harder for black people. They're not just handing anything to black people. Black people are still overcoming a lot of racism and struggles. And at the same time, look at me. I'm black. I'm living a dream. I was able to do all of this in America. At the same time, it's available for you if you work hard and you go after it. But like people are bugging out if they think they're just handing out jobs to black people for being black. That's like an oxymoron. This is the opposite. It doesn't make sense. What's up with our Devils, bro? Yeah, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. Let's go, Devils. Let's go, Devils. That's where I gotta go. I gotta go to the Rock, turn it up. I gotta check the schedule, but you can't do that. I got a kid. I got a wife. I gotta hang out with. Oh, there's another field goal. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be pissed because I bet you now Jake Elliott hit that field goal. Let me look at my fantasy, and I bet you Jake Elliott would have had enough points for me to win. 16 points. I am down. No, I still wouldn't have won. Nope. 16 points would have given me another 5, and I am down 8. So wasn't meant to be. Was not meant to be. Tough week for me in the NFL. Survivor knocked out and about to be knocked down out of first place right before the playoffs. Um, will LA tie it, Keith? Nah, but I'm glad if the Eagles win because then the last rap that I did for my little segment and hold on, this ain't over yet. And Dicker is good from here. Hold on, Dicker. I barely know her. Justin Herbert gets the first down. Yeah, this game might be going overtime, and I'll chill with y'all if we're going overtime. Um, Magnesium oxide and melatonin is an awesome combination. Yeah, if you're trying to go to La La Land. See, but I got to correct you, Bill. Obviously, doing radio is priority for your career, but you never know where this will take you. Like, it's not priority. It's just what I have been doing the last 4 years. So if another opportunity arises in radio, it makes sense for me to return to that platform. I just don't think it's going anywhere where I will return. Also, my son's not going to be a baby forever. I could return to doing nighttime radio in like 2-3 years. Who knows? Um, but the future is now. Everything is evolving. Even TV, streaming, YouTube, Twitch, all this stuff, live streams. It's evolving. You gotta be everywhere. Kitty cameo. Yeah, you had my cat Toon coming here running around messing stuff up. Keith coming in with the Red Shoe Diaries vibe. Homie with the bread route or some other delivery who part-time is really good too. Um, with the bread route or part-time delivery on WFAN? I don't know. I know Gordon Damer, who used to be on ESPN, is getting some shows. I know Gallo gets some shows. I know Hoff gets some shows. Danielle McCartan gets some shows. EJ Stewart gets some shows. Fun fantasy. If you could pick, would you rather your son play center field for the Yanks or starting quarterback for the Cowboys, Giants, whomever? Starting center fielder for the Yankees by far. Safer. It's going to be higher paying. It's right here in New York. Way more games. You can go watch way more games right here in New York. So yeah, that's an easy one. That's an easy one for me. I'm watching this on the phone and I keep losing the stream. I'm like, yo, stay with us, man. 12 seconds? 12 seconds here as we proceed, man. Appreciate y'all in here, bro. Appreciate y'all in here. It's funny because it's like this is just the beginning, right? And I think when I started the stream, I sent a message of like, yo, life begins when fear ends. When you are not afraid to live your life. Okay, Cameron Dicker's lining up for this 48-yard field goal. Does he drill this? He does. So on my fantasy team, I have Cameron Dicker, who that's a 48-yard kick. Hold on. Do I get plus points for that? We might have a weird chance here. I'm down 4 and like a couple points here. But I don't think, I mean, even if he hits a field goal in overtime, how much did I just get for that? I would end up losing by like a couple points, which would be tragedy. So I have Jake Elliott on my bench with 16. My phone is dirty. I need to clean it. Jake Elliott with 16 on my bench. Don't ask me why I have 2 kickers because it's just I forgot one was there. Then I have Cameron Dicker in the game with 15. I'm playing Ross in Bergen County. He's got 132.52. I've got 128.14. Cameron Dicker just got 4 points for that long distance field goal. Right? He's 4 for 4 with 2 field goals that are in the 30 to 39 range, 2 field goals that are in the 40 to 49. So you get 4 points for those and then 1 extra point. Let's see what happens here in overtime. If he kicks the field goal to win it in overtime, and it's a deep one, I'm gonna lose by like 30% and chain like 38% or something. Or not 38%, 0.38. That's gonna be fun. That'll be good to go to sleep too. That'll be a great way to end the stream with a stupid L like that. OT. Think you get a bonus. Yeah, well, that's what we need. We need a Cameron Dicker 50-yarder for 5 points. And then I'm like, that's a walk-off win and a hell of a stream. And Ross in Bergen County, shout out to Ross in Bergen County. Ross in Bergen County reached out and said, he went to high school during the 4 years of me being on WFAN. And he called into my show a lot. And I kind of, told him to start his podcast. And he was starting his podcast and he wanted to get into that type of stuff. But he basically said, like, through calling into your show, and I kind of had a thing when he would call, I'd say, Ross is in Bergen County. Ross is on the fan every day because I knew he was such a diehard, loyal, WFAN listener. And I kind of gave him that nod. And he said that kind of became like a thing for him in school. I'm like, that's dope, man. Like to be in high school and get kind of some notoriety off of, being on the fan. And then he ended up calling games and, doing some stuff. And I met Ross and his pops at Fanatics Fest back-to-back years. Mad cool, and Fanatics Fest is amazing to meet, listeners and people. And people showed me mad love at Fanatics Fest back-to-back years. Like you'll do the live show at Fanatics Fest and you'll take a commercial break and then you'll take pictures with like 10 people each break. And they have like, live seating, and that's an awesome experience. I'll always remember. I'll be at Fanatics Fest again this year coming up. Maybe not hosting a WFAN show, but you'll see me bopping around. I'll probably be doing something else. I'll be there as a fan, but who knows? I could be working there with a company. I could be working there for Fanatics. The first year I went, I was a part of a focus group with Michael Rubin, and I interviewed with Michael Rubin in 2018 for a social media position. So it was cool seeing his right-hand man. I think his right-hand man's name is Mayor. But it was cool seeing them from 2018 to 2024 and being like, yo, I interviewed with you back then. And they don't remember because they probably had a bunch of different people coming in an interview. But I was like, I don't even do social media now. I'm like, well, I do my own social media. I'm like, I became a radio host. And back then they were looking for a social media coordinator, not so much for Fanatics, but to help Michael Rubin build out his social media because he wanted to be popping. He wanted to have followers. He wanted to, he already had the money and he wanted to have the fame and the followers. So when he's rubbing shoulders with these rappers and these players, he would kind of, look the part and fit in more. I'm like, you don't need the followers, bro. You got the bank account. Forget the followers. I'll take the dollars. You know what I'm saying? If I could, I kind of always knew that I would have to, get to some type of level of notoriety or fame to make money. But if there was a way to do it without, that's another thing I said recently. If there's a way to do it without being known, like, okay, so let's say I turn down and I'm not turning down, like, but let's say, not being on WFAN for, the rest of time turned me down as far as like how many people were familiar with me, but my bank account went up, that'd be fine. But I don't think that's gonna happen because early returns is across platforms. I've added followers, subscribers, views, and like even in like the reality, um, like I'm having conversations and emails and meetings with people that I'd never talked to before. So like the business return is like, okay, hey, you're a free agent. Hey, you're looking for another opportunity. Hey, you're looking for a day job. Yeah, that's it. You know, my wife and my son are out of the house by 8 a.m. and I'd like somewhere to leave at 8 a.m. that I could go be at 9 a.m. and work till 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Could you imagine that? 9 a.m. to 5. I just want somewhere I could leave when my family leaves at 8 in the morning and go work 9 to 5 and then commute home by 6 and be there when they come home at 6:30. And ironically, I had worked in New York for years, always having a day job. And so now I'm on the hunt for another day job. My cat has a few names. My cat's name is Luna, Tuna, Toon, Toonie. So all of this goes back to the radio. When I started on the radio at night, um, I won't say we lived in a sketchy place, but we lived in a sketchier place in Jersey City where you don't know if it's fireworks or if it's gunshots going off. But we were good. Don't get it twisted. We were good where we were. You weren't good necessarily all the time outside, but my wife was safe. She wanted a companion. She wanted a cat. She always grew up with cats, and she suggested we get a cat because it's like, hey, you're going to be leaving at night. I don't want to be by myself. So, Halloween of 2021, we went to the Vince Lombardi rest stop, and these people from Alabama came up with this like van full of animals, and Toon was a kitten, and we adopted her, and she wasn't Toon when we got her. I don't know what they called her. Um, she was like 5 or 6 months old, and my wife named her Luna, and she's got this like collar. If you look on my Instagram, there's a picture of her sitting on my lap, and this collar has like moons on it. So my wife named her Luna, but pet names, and when you have cats or dogs or animals, you just like, I don't know. I started calling her Luna Tuna, Luna Tuna, Pantaluna, Luna Toon turned into Looney Tune, Toonie. And now it's great. Like my son now calls her Toonie. And then Toon, like Lil Toonchi, like Drake. Drake calls Lil Wayne Toon. Tell Toon light one, pass it like a relay. YMCMB, you more YMCA. Um, yeah, Toon. I call her Toon, aka Toonie. Uh, let's see. Stream is messing up. Yeah, probably because I've been on it for a minute. I think, is it messing up on Twitter? I'm hardwired in too, so I don't know. Maybe I'll change the light. It'll be different. What color are we gonna rock with? Hmm. We'll close with a little purple. I like the purple feel. Yeah, it's a little brighter too. Um, it shouldn't be messing up. It should be fine now. Are the Chargers about to win this game? And if they do, we'll get ready to sign off. And that's a big win for the Chargers if so. I got my AirPods in. Oh, Dicker just hit that field goal. As long as they don't tie. Oh, are you shitting me? Look at, what? Look at the score. What a comeback. A comeback for the freaking ages. Oh my. Yo, are you kidding me? Yo, they can't say I'm not tapped in. Dicker hits that field goal, and it's a 5-point field goal. It's a 5-point field goal, bro. Here, let me see something real quick. I'm just trying to get the stream straight, honestly. But that is, I got to tell the story now. So, usually the Patriots are my defense. And I completely forgot that the Patriots are on a bye. And I'm watching the games and I'm wondering why because I've just been too busy. I have not been paying attention to fantasy. I was able yesterday to grab the Chiefs defense like right before Sunday Night Football and throw them in. This is an incredible comeback. So I was able to throw in, and then I told you I had 2 kickers. I'm not paying attention. I'm like, who do I pick? Dicker or do I pick Elliott? And the only reason that I picked Dicker was because that's his home stadium and they're indoors. And here we go. We'll see what the Eagles do here, but I'm the number 1 team in this league. And I'm pretty sure I get a bye. Let's see if they can hold. But yeah, stream coming in better now. Now it is working. Cool. I gotta hit up Ross. How does how does Mia Khalifa Soto affect the clubhouse chemistry? He's gonna be an all-star next year. You know they're gonna want to talk about that at spring training, right? You know you're gonna be like, "Hey, bro, so was it?" Because they could be like, "I think I know, but I want to hear it from you, Juan. I want to hear it from you, Juan." She looks like a dude never found her attractive. Me either. I'm not saying she looks like a dude, but she never did it for me. She's a little weird and hurts. Oh, wow. They got to go and score a touchdown. I don't care what happens now because I'm beating Ross by points of I'm about to beat Ross by like 1 point and 1.48. What an improbable comeback for me. Is it fake? Is that AI or fake? Like they're not really like I don't know. It looked like they were together to me. Tunes the Driving Cat was a classic SNL skit in the early '90s. The cat would be driving and always go off a cliff. It was funnier than it sounds. But the cat was called Tunes. You are back in focus. It was out of focus and distorted for the last 20 minutes or so. But see, on my end, I don't see that. It's clear in the studio. Devontae Smith. But like, thanks for the heads up. Thanks for the heads up. Um, you know, I can affect the camera. You know, I can do like that. I can also affect the like contrast like that. I can affect the saturation. Now we're just black and white. You know, that's actually cool. I might do some more streams in the black and white like that. I think that's a dope aesthetic. You know, maybe I do. I depends on I do some. You know, I do the real life I do the real life content talking about my life in black and white. Sharpness. mm, Whenever you make sharpness that like high, it's grainy. It's not sharp. You know. Okay, they're at the distance to kick the field goal to win it. I can affect the white balance. But yeah. Appreciate y'all letting me know in the chat though, because like I said, on my end, I'm looking in StreamYard and it doesn't look like that at all. Now I'm looking on Twitter and it does look like that. Now I'm looking on Twitter and it does look, and I'm looking at an old one. Now we're good. Oh, it looked like he was there. But yeah, man, don't get it twisted. I have an agent that's got to get paid. I have a resume. I have 4 years of radio experience now. And if I wanted to use my experience in the social media world and actually go back to a day job where people don't hear from me as much during the day, and I'm up to it. I just think now I would need a hybrid position. I would want to work at a company where I could do social media managing, but also be on camera. Like I could be in all the meetings, but also be a subject of the content. Um, which I'm not lying. Like I've already had conversations about like, would you be interested in being on the social team, but being a host of our content where like you go work for a sports brand like Overtime or Bleacher Report or I don't know, and it's like you're on the social media team full time. You go to work like 9 to 5, 10 to 6, but you also do field content. You also do in the office content. You also like because a lot of times you need to lend a voice. Like you know you need to have somebody like all right, my boy Adam Kessler at Whistle Sports. He's got a great job over there. He's been there for years, where he does back end stuff, but also when they need to have him get on the mic. I don't know where my other mic is, but you know these mics where you see these people holding his mics, like you know, have somebody to talk about like, let's talk about you know Jamarcus Russell. Is he the biggest bust in the draft? And then somebody edits the video and puts all that other stuff in there. That's on the table for me. Neutral zone infraction on LA, first down. They might lose this game. If they're going to let up a touchdown. That's insane. That's nuts. Yo, so where are people watching from in the chat? Hoboken. technically Jersey City. Yeah, we go back to the 60s before color TVs. Yeah, so location check at almost midnight. We are in my apartment, which is Jersey City, but closer to Hoboken. Haverstraw, Rockland, New York. White Plains, New York. New York in the building. I'm across the river. Seeing if these Eagles got it in them. Jalen Hurts better have the heroics after he sucked all game. There's a good pass inside the 20. Cool. I lived in Rockland for 4 years, 1994 to 1998. I don't know. I don't know if I ever. I know I definitely never lived in Rockland County. I'm trying to think. Have I ever gone? Is that considered? Like I know they always talk about what's upstate and what's not upstate. Is Rockland County considered upstate or not quite yet? It's definitely upstate. Intercepted. Oh my God, Jalen Hurts sucks. Oh my. I just was saying, after all, bro, Hurts had a terrible game. After all the interceptions he threw, bro, stay in LA. Don't get on a bus. Don't get on a plane. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. 4 picks. But hey, all right, folks. That's why you can't trust the Eagles. And they're cooked, bro. They're stupid. They're stupid. All right, I gotta go. Man, now let's do what let's do the let's go to the camera here. Let's bring this camera in. Boom. Boom. Um let's go down and do the yo, so it's been real, it's been fun. Another one. Man, if you gave me 3 hours, which is almost 4 hours, because I started this at like 8:20. If you gave me 3 minutes, if you wrote in the chat, Bill is the MVP. Um, man, if you just were laid back watching, maybe you're here laid back, just observing and taking reports. So you could go back and be like, nah, I watched Keith's live stream yesterday. This is what he said. This is what he didn't say. Thanks for watching. I'm good. I'm in good spirits. I'm blessed. I'm about to go to sleep. If I was on WFAN, I probably wouldn't get on till 12:30. And shout out to WFAN. They will always be strong. They will always be prominent. They will never die. And I hope to be back on soon. But if I'm not, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna stop being me. I'm not gonna stop doing me. And you'll find me right here. So if you're on YouTube, yeah, you don't gotta send a super chat. Just hit a yada that I mean. If you're on Twitter, like the tweet and Yeah, man, we'll keep it running. Maybe I'll do one Thursday night. I can't do one because Thursday is like holiday party in the city. So is Friday. All these holiday parties are coming up. I got holiday parties Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know when we'll do the next stream. Um, but as I always say, appreciate y'all in here, man. You could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to rock with me. And, you know, we will figure out when the next one is. And I don't care whether there was 16 or 88 or 1688 people in here, through the night. Um, the internet is the way. The internet is the future. Social media, streaming, and if you're someone like myself that has the gift of gab, and then also the tech savvy to come in here and flip this and do all this stuff and be able to also connect with people, keep people company, tell real life stories, tell the real truth, and you know kill a Monday night before midnight, then I will continue to do that type of stuff in the chat as people are dipping out. I was asking about Rockland. Let's clear this chat before I dip all the way out. Um, let's see. Hudson Valley, it's connected to Jersey and Westchester County. No, it's 45 minutes from the city, but it's considered upstate. Keith, you ever been to the Palisades Mall? Nah. Bro, I'm so like I'm Jersey Shore. Like that's another thing. Like I never pretend to be from Jersey or from New York. I'm all the way Jersey Shore. Like I don't act like I've ever been everywhere. Over in West Nyack, oh snap, it's like 10, 15 months, minutes. Flatbush, yeah, I've been to Brooklyn a bunch. Eagles are done, one and done in the playoffs. Maybe. Keith, you ever been to or heard of the Palisades Mall? I've heard of the Palisades Mall. I don't think I've ever been there. I don't know. It's too far for me to go. But anyway, I do got to go. Thank you. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate you, bro. You already know that. Thanks for the show. It was fun spending Monday night with you, with all y'all. Fun stream, always. We'll do more, and these will build out and do more, and there'll be different vibes and different locations and different features and stuff. Love you, Keith. Keep up the good work. Phil, appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Never got to check out the Palisades Mall. Oh, look at this. That's the best way to end it. Hold this L. Hold this L, Ross. Hold this L, Ross. Look at that. 133.1 to 32.52. Had to eat the W on him. Yeah, that's fun, man. Like you want to talk about stealing a win, Ross? I didn't even have a defense when the games kicked off. When the games kicked off yesterday, I didn't even have a defense. I had the Patriots defense locked in. They're on a bye. I went to waivers. There was only one defense that I could pick. It was the Chiefs defense. There was only one defense available to be picked. I put the Chiefs defense in. My stupid ass has two kickers. I had Cam Dicker and I had Jake Elliott. And I thought to play Jake Elliott, and I played Cam Dicker, and Cam Dicker put up 20 points on your ass. Cam Dicker put up, ew. Dicker, I barely know her. Cam Dicker put up 20 points for the win. Right. Amon Ra's drops not so bad now. Bro, Amon Ra was on my bench. Go look at my bench. I didn't play him because he had the ankle. Hey, yo, pause. Honestly, no. That doesn't mean I don't want to do a radio show because like I feel like there are people that listen to the radio that miss me, but like I haven't had that feeling yet. I don't know when that's gonna hit. I haven't had a feeling of like this is my show. I haven't had a feeling like yo, I should be on the radio right now. Like when I'm telling you it was time, it was time. I ran my race. I got to my finish line. I knew that was it. So do I miss being on the radio? No, because I've been doing these lives. And like quietly, I'm doing a bunch of other things that I've wanted to do for a while. So any city past Albany is considered upstate. Good to know. I'm in Raw on Monday Night Football. Um, I'm in Raw on Thursday Night Football against Dallas. I didn't play him. I left 15 points on my bench, but it didn't matter because my kicker had 20. Ross, take that L, Brody. Go check the standings in fantasy. Who's the number one team in fantasy? Keep McPherson 10-4. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, man. We out. We out. We out. We out. I don't know how to end this. I mean, I know how to end this, but I'll throw up one of these. Bang.